Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of The Weekly Planet, Mason,
Flawless.
where we talk movies and comics and TV shows. My name is James, also known as Mr. Sunday. And with me, as always, is my host, Nick Mason.
Oh, James has already had his legally mandated soda for the day.
It's true.
So rather than opening
Yeah.
one on microphone, he's taken a sample from the Yellow song, Oh Yeah.
Does it work, though?
I think it worked. I think that was
It
really
tracks
good.
and plays?
I think it
Is
tracks
this the
and plays.
peak of the joke?
No,
Good.
we haven't hit the punchline yet. You're going to reveal that, right?
Oh, yeah,
In
yeah.
coming weeks.
I won't
Right.
just.
The punchline has risen and the setup has risen and fallen over
Yeah.
many weeks. So you're going to find the perfect moment to insert the punchline. It's going to blow people's minds.
Or just drift off.
Same thing with thoughts and prizes on
What are you
Caravan
talking
of
about? Why do
Garbage.
you keep saying that?
You son of a bitch.
Even in my personal life, he's always asking for thoughts or prizes. And like, he can have those things, but it's not down to me. You know?
That's actually really beautiful.
Thanks, man. Listen, before we get on with the show, and what a show. We've got a wonderful guest lined up this week to talk Alien Romulus.
We do.
Alexi Toliopoulos is going to be stopping by.
That's right.
And then stepping out.
That's right.
Uh,
if he knows what's good for him.
Yeah, which I'm really excited about. He's always an
I think it's
absolute
going to
blast.
go very well.
Me too. It's going to be a good conversation.
Yeah,
I
that's
already feel that.
There's going to be some laughs.
Yep.
There's going to be some learns.
I agree. But before that, of course, we've got the news of the week.
That's right.
We're going to...
Alexi's got no stake in this.
Nah, not at all.
Hope he doesn't show up right before we do the last bit of news.
Can you imagine?
Storms in here, has
Yeah.
opinions on the last bit of news we talk about.
I doubt it. But
Yeah.
yeah. So we're going to do some trailers, including Craven 2. That's Craven. There won't be a Craven 2. But Craven Trailer 2.
Okay, I think there might be a Craven too.
Maybe. Then the Thunderbolts
I'm
trailer.
craving an exciting action movie.
Me too.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the Thunderbolts trailer has leaked this week, so we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about the mystery. Oh, I love this stuff. About Bo DeMayo being fired from X-Men.
I don't like it.
No, I don't like it either, but it has to be talked about, Mason, at least this once more. We're going to talk about how Disney are arguing that they can kill people
Yep.
if you watch a show, basically.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
how it works. We're going to talk about...
It's like a bloody episode of Black Mirror, isn't it?
It is! An update on Eternals 2. We're going to talk about Hugh Jackman.
It's cancelled.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
So's Armor Wars, I think.
Is it?
Maybe.
Probably Blade also, I
Some
would say.
scooper on the socials was like it's been quietly cancelled for a while.
Do you think Blade's been cancelled? They didn't announce it.
They didn't.
Or Armor Wars in the
Yeah,
most
yeah,
recent
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Then we're going to talk about Hugh Jackman staying on potentially as Wolverine, how James Gunn's shooting of Superman is going. Probably not very well unless he's got a bloody kryptonite bullet, everybody. That's a comic book reference for you.
Yes.
And then, of course, James Wan being in early talks to helm Creature from the Black Lagoon, the Dark Universe is back.
I'm very excited for just you and me to talk about that.
I would love that. That's all I want in this world.
Just you and me
Yep.
and a big old chat about the Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Definitely. Now, just quickly,
If anybody else came in at the last moment, it would ruin it.
even if they had additional information about that.
and like better insight into the history of the character and, really
Yuck.
enriching stuff.
Yuck.
Yuck.
Just letting everybody know, I am going to the UK with a couple of fellas from over at Sans Pants, including Joel Dusha and Jackson Bailey. We've got some shows lined up. There are still tickets available for some of those, I believe. I don't know which
Yeah,
ones.
but good luck getting them.
Yeah, maybe. The second show in Edinburgh, still got some tickets, I think. I don't know. I haven't looked at this. Second show in Manchester also. And the Birmingham one. Birmingham.
Birmingham.
I don't know about the second show to that yet because they're having some trouble with something. I don't know. I'm
Wow.
not organising it.
Okay.
Ask Joel Zammett. But speaking of, they are doing a live Plumbing the Death Star this coming Saturday on August 22nd.
And that's in Australia.
That's in Australia. I think it's August 22nd. No, it's on a Thursday. I apologize, I got
God.
that wrong. So that's going to be at Comedy Republic if you are interested.
What a lovely
popping
venue.
on by, yeah. So that they're always a great time, those live shows. I won't be there. But I am doing a live show with Sam Peterson on Friday, which is for Confessions, and it's me.
This
and-
coming Friday.
This coming Friday. And
Terrific.
Georgia Love and Celia Piccola, which I'm very excited to
She's
do.
the host of Australia's Thank God You're Here.
That's right. And I'm not the host of anything. Except for this fucking show!
All right.
All right.
All right, no need for language.
Sorry. Time goes below. If you want to jump to anything, Collings, who edits this, makes that possible. Here we go. It's Trailers Ahoy. We're kicking off with this. Are you ready for some more spum? Sony Pictures Universe of Marvel movies.
Oh, I guess.
This is good they're releasing this because it's gonna when it sinks like a stone, then we can do the spum trilogy. Morbius, Madam Web, Craven, Trailer 2.
So what you're saying is the worst possible outcome is this is a good movie that does well.
yeah, for us.
Yeah.
Because then we can't do a Caravan of Garbage trilogy on failed Sony's villain spin-offs or whatever they're doing.
Yeah, it doesn't quite have the ring of like two movies that did poorly and then one that, exceeded all expectations.
How do
I
you-
don't think it will.
No, how do you feel about this? I mean, it's gory, it's Russian, it's Russell Crowe. Looks like it could be a bit of fun.
Yes.
But how he sits in the chair? Sits
He
in that
does.
big
He
chair?
sits in the chair, he wears the vest.
Yeah,
For
for some of it. Probably just the
That's
end.
how Craven, he's the best.
Oh my God. This is fun.
We're getting that chant going in this theater.
That's how Craven, he's the best. That's how Craven,
Sits in the chair. Sits in
Craven,
where's the best. He's
He's
the best.
I know we're both fans of this person, but Nando V Movies took to Twitter and he said, so there's a shot where you see in the trailer, and it was in the first trailer, where you see the villain's arm turned into a rhino skin.
And he says, you'll know,
Oh,
you know where you call me the rhino.
Because he can turn into a rhino.
Yeah.
But Nando V Movies said, it's a great YouTube channel, check him out.
Agreed.
I fully stand by my prediction that this was originally going to be the end of the movie and the actual rhino stuff was added in reshoots, because there is a lot of rhino in this.
And I think some sort of scooper did confirm, yes. Clearly they
Daniel Richmond said it was the end of the movie per a test screen.
So the original cut of this movie was just going to be him, Craven fighting poachers,
Yep.
and at the very end of the movie, a guy's going to be like, "This is what it's called," and then he was going to sort of turn into the rhino, and then credits, and then people went, "How about something?
Yeah.
How about this movie had something in it?"
This is also, that would be the ending of The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Teasing the rhino doing
yeah.
a big fight and then not.
Do you think how many people?
How could you do that twice?
How many interns do you think got fired for pointing that out before it got to somebody with some decision-making power who went, oh, yeah, maybe we should change it? I reckon 2.
Yeah.
I reckon 2 people went, oh, like The Amazing Spider-Man 2. You're out.
Yeah.
You don't have to come back tomorrow. Thanks for your help. You don't have to come back tomorrow. And then eventually somebody went, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about this, though, in general? It does present better than both Morbius and Madam Web in its trailers.
Is that because it's trying to do less?
Maybe.
Because, look, I think what
It also got pushed a year.
the actions
Something.
looks to be okay.
There's some
It
CGI
doesn't
blood
thrill
happening.
me. I'm not sure why I'm supposed to care about this character. You know what I mean?
I just looked up, I went to the Wikipedia page to be like, who directed this? And I'd already clicked on who the director was because I've been down this road. He did Triple Frontier, A Most Violent Year, All Is Lost, Robert De Redford
Robert
stuck
De
in a
Niro.
boat.
Most Violent Year, Triple Frontier. There's our pal, Bobby De Niro.
He's done some good
God,
stuff.
this is a good week
He's
for
done some
rhyme,
good
for
stuff.
nursery rhymes. isn't
Completely
it?
agree.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't understand why I'm supposed to care about these Spider-Man villains who are not really villains anymore.
Yeah.
They're not fighting Spider-Man. They're just fighting another subpar
And you'll
villain.
get them in the costume at the end, maybe.
Yeah.
Just like Madam Web, where she was in the costume and the chair at the
Yeah.
end.
Look, I don't hate the Rhino design. I'm glad we're
The
actually...
face isn't great. If
No,
you see
the
faces.
face isn't great, but it is also, how do you do a live
Just do a
action...
normal human face, like he is in
Like
the
a
comics sometimes.
Teletubby.
Yeah.
He looks like a Teletubby. Let's be real. The
Yeah.
comic book version looks like a Teletubby.
Yeah,
but
that's good, though.
I appreciate that he's not, they haven't gone mech suit version. They've gone,
Well, they can't because they did it.
they did it already.
yeah.
Yeah. I am I'm cautiously optimistic.
I think that's a-
I am confident it's going to be better than the previous 2.
Yep.
I don't know if it's going to be as good as Venom 1.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
It's a big call.
big call, isn't it?
So it was scheduled for release. It was previously scheduled for the 13th of January 2023.
Then they moved it up and then back.
Then they bumped it to October of 2023. And then they pushed it to August of 2024.
Okay.
And then they bumped it again.
Now it's in December
to
of this year.
December, which
Okay.
is them, I think it shows they have some faith in it because they think it'll have a summer fun run.
Right.
But it's going to go up against like some other stuff. I can't remember what, but there's some other stuff happening this summer. There's no Star Wars and there's no Avatar, but I think there's something else happening.
Yeah,
There's a
right.
Lion King. There's an animated Lord of the Rings thing, but that's an anime, so I don't know whether that will.
Did we get any clarification from last week? We saw the Mufasa Lion King trailer. Is it Mufasa usurping the royal title from Scar, or is it the
No,
other way
you were
around?
right.
It is that
We
because
did
everybody
talk-
in the internet has been telling me the other thing that
Oh.
that Scar is the real royal family. Oh wait, is the other one? No, it's Scar is the real member of the royal family, and then they adopt Mufasa, and then
That's what I took from the trailer,
Okay.
but I might have read it wrong. But then
Okay.
I read the synopsis, and the synopsis said the thing you said.
Oh.
Listen,
I don't
listen.
Also, I don't care.
Do you care?
No, I don't. I don't know why I'm locked into this. I don't understand why I brought it up again. I don't. If somebody could clarify it and be very clear, don't be like, well, I reckon it's this. No, I need to see.
Yep.
I need to see a Disney executive explaining it.
Yeah, absolutely.
A
Good
video
point.
of that. Nice.
Yeah, so that's just having another drink, everybody, to
Oh, yeah,
celebrate.
great. Uh-huh.
Yeah, all the good things that are happening. Anyway, Craven, can't wait. Can't wait.
Can't wait for Craven.
Yeah.
That's a hashtag right there.
Yep.
That we get that wave going.
Yeah. That chant we did.
We're
something
waving
in-
for Craven.
Waving for
That's what we're going to be
something in
doing.
the vest.
Yeah. I think we should get that going. We should have videos of people just waving,
Yeah.
just on their webcams. Say hashtag waving for Craven.
Bring the Queen back from using a deep fake, have her wave. She's got the most famous wave.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah. Thunderbolts, though. Somebody filmed this and then held on to it.
Yeah,
for
I wanted to talk about this one, and you hadn't seen it, so we had to
No.
kind of attempt to track
Scour
it
the
down.
internet.
And we eventually found a very low quality version.
Good enough, though.
Good enough, yeah.
Not
So
good enough to distinguish between Ghost and Taskmaster.
It's interesting that in years past, if somebody were to release a leaked version of a trailer from Comic-Con or D23 or whatever it was,
Yeah.
Marvel or Disney or whatever company would have a high-res version ready to go the very next day. A lot of the time you'd go, well, I won't waste my time watching
Yeah.
this low-res version because the good one will be out in an hour. But it's been weeks and there's no...
I think what happened here is, because in between... Yeah, so there's a Captain America movie coming out in February.
Uh-huh.
So I think they don't want to confuse people.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Of because I've confused those about which one's the Red Hulk one and whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And I know this
and
stuff. I'm
has-
supposed to.
And Thunderbolts asterisk has US agent in it.
Yes,
Ryan
that's
Russell.
right. Exactly.
A good casting, I think.
And a beard.
Yeah, so
And a beard.
he does have a beard. So this is for people who
Trailer looks good, by the way.
it does look good.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, I thought it was very good. So for people who don't know, it's a handful of Marvel's kind of military espionage intelligence heroes / villains.
Oh, yeah.
Who have all independently, unbeknownst to each other, been hired to take care of a guy named Bob.
Yep.
They all end up in the same location and surprised to see all the others there. And then surprise, Bob isn't just a guy, he's the Sentry, who's basically like Superman with severe mental instability.
Yeah.
Is what he is. And he's
And sometimes he's in Marvel history or something.
sometimes he is, yeah. The
Sounds very The Boys, what you're describing, Mason.
does a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You familiar?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm excited for this. We get some hints of we get to see, for example, the Sentry's S shield,
Yep.
which he wears on his belt. We get to see all the cast, as you mentioned. Both Ghost and Taskmaster get a redesign, and they've decided to make them look like each other. There's a sequence where they're
didn't
both
point-
in a room fighting to each other, and at one point, Ghost is wielding a bow and arrow,
Yeah.
which is one of Taskmaster's weapons. I don't understand.
If you hadn't have been like, you're going to be confused at this pit, it would have gone right past me.
Yeah.
And bearing in mind, I did watch it very low res.
yeah.
But I wouldn't have realized that there was two of them in that
Yeah,
room.
so they've both got a redesign. They've both gotten kind of black costumes, which makes sense because they're Black Ops
Yeah.
types with white masks, but they look
Yeah.
the same. I
Strange.
don't understand why they've done that.
Yeah.
Why not keep one of them white and one of them black? I don't know.
Great question.
Isn't it though?
Yes.
But anyway, the main reason I wanted to talk about this, it looks exciting.
Yeah.
The main reason I wanted to talk about this is I think they're going to do a big stunt at the end to as an attempt to like reinvigorate just
Oh.
stuff in generally. So we get, of course, Julia Louis-Dreyfus is in this as Allegra.
Allegra De Fontaine.
Fontaine, yeah.
something.
And there's a moment in this trailer where the Thunderbolts team they all show up in this space, and it's like a penthouse set of penthouse windows in this sort of empty room. And I think that is Avengers Tower. I think they're gonna finally reveal they're finally gonna figure out for themselves who bought Avengers Tower.
And it's evil, evil Marvel universe guys who are supposed to be good, but they're evil. It's like the new Shield or something. I'd
So
imagine.
here's because also as has been pointed out, this movie is now called Thunderbolts Asterisk.
Yeah.
So there has to be a big reveal. I think they're going to have to do some sort of shock and awe reveal.
Dark Avengers, right?
That people are like, whoa, yes, and I think it is leaning towards that. So I think what's going to happen is they're going to defeat or recruit the Sentry. This is from the end. This is from the right at the end.
Yeah.
I think Allegra is going to invite them to Avengers Tower. She's going to be like, "Oh, here's your new digs. You're the Thunderbolts now." Blah blah blah, and then we're going to have, and then she's going to be like, and here's your new boss. And you know how the Avengers Tower has that launching platform for the Iron Man suit? I think an Iron Man suit's going to appear, flying through the sky. We're going to be like, is this bloody Iron Man? What's going on? It's going to land. It's either going to be an Iron Patriot suit or an Iron Man suit with a different color scheme. And the suit is going to disassemble like it does on the landing pad. And then it's going to be Willem Dafoe as Norman Osborn.
Okay.
And he's going to be like, I'm something of a Thunderbolts myself or whatever. And then it's going to be Thunderbolts asterisk
Willem Dafoe.
a wholly owned subsidiary of Oscorp or something like that. I think that's because I think they have to do shock and awe here.
I agree.
to,
You
like-
can't call it Thunderbolts asterisk and then not do something that's like that.
Right. And it has to be something that people recognize, like the
Yes.
general audience are going to go,
It's
him.
J.K. Simmons.
It's J.K. Simmons. J. Jonah Jameson
It's
bought
Tobey
it.
Maguire. It's
Exactly.
Doctor Doom.
And people are going to be like, does that make sense? Because Willem Dafoe was an alternate version of, like he was the parallel universe version of the Green Goblin in Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
No.
I think he's probably happy. He'd be happy to do it.
What if it was Tony Stark? And they're like, oh, it's Tony Stark. But it's like, that's not Tony Stark.
It's a different Tony Stark.
That's Doctor Doom.
Oh, it might be.
No.
Yeah, it might be.
Well, apparently it's been said that the Doctor Doom that's going to be in the movies is going to be from the Fantastic Four universe. or
Right,
whatever.
and he's going to come over as well.
He's going to
yeah.
come over. He's going to take a little joyride.
Which suggests that he is going to be the ongoing Doctor Doom, right?
Yeah, I would
At
say
least
so.
for a few years, right?
At least till they shoot him with a laser.
Yeah.
And he goes, this was too much laser, even for me.
Right?
Even for me, this was too much.
Right? Anyway, what do you think about that theory?
I like it. I don't know whether it's going to be specifically Willem Dafoe, but
No.
yes, it will be something like
It's
that.
got to be something that
Because he got shot into another dimension or something when home. Not that means he can't come
yeah,
back.
I think it's going to be this dimensions.
Yeah. Oh,
I think it's going
getcha,
to be this
yes.
dimensions Norman Osborn who just hasn't been.
Well, it could be
seen
like
yet.
a Norman Osborn who's not Willem Dafoe. You cast somebody known. And you're
Yeah.
like, oh, it's fucking someone from The Wire or whatever.
Yep, sure.
It's Dominic Cooper from... No, he's not from The Wire.
Dominic West from
Dominic
The Wire.
West
Could
from
be
The
Dominic
Wire.
West
But
from
something
The
like
Wire.
that.
Yeah,
or-
okay, yeah,
But someone
yeah.
probably more famous.
Yeah. Look,
It's James Gandolfini's son.
I'm happy to entertain that notion, but I think it has to be somebody
Yeah.
that you don't have to explain who it is.
Yeah,
Like
okay.
they can't do the James Rhodes thing where they have to be like, well, it's this. You have to go, it's the guy. There's no words.
Kang.
Maybe it's oh my god, it's Kang.
It was right in front of us.
He's uncancelled.
It's right in front of us
I'm
the whole
back
time.
and I'm uncancelled.
I'm sure people have some great theories on this theory that probably isn't true. But
Yeah.
I'd love to hear. Who could the
Yeah.
guy be? Who could the guy be?
Then and maybe he's not even a guy.
There might not even, but there's going to be some twist.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And
interesting
it can't
stuff.
be like Justin Hammer.
Yeah.
It's like there's
No, it
people it
can't
could
be,
be,
yeah.
but people would be like, "What's that guy from?" It's got to be someone in recent memory. You know what I mean?
Could be Loki.
Loki's going to be in something soon. Secret Wars.
Yeah, probably.
Also, did you say that there's going to be Eyes on Wakanda, the series? They're going to time travel in it.
Oh yeah, because they're going to use old whatever.
Sure.
Old to like 19
T'Chaka-
like
King
1940
T'Chaka,
or like
maybe?
1940s Black Panther. or
Yeah,
whatever.
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool stuff.
I'm just looking up MCU villains that disappeared.
Yeah.
Could be an X-Men person. Could
I
be
was
like
thinking the other day we
could
should
be like a Michael Fassbender. It
yeah.
could be like something
we
like
should
that.
do a video on
Nah.
all the.
I'm not really into
oh,
that.
come on, you love videos.
Could be
Video's your
Glenn
favorite
Close.
thing.
Yeah, you're right.
You could be Glenn Close.
Yeah.
We should do a video on MCU post-credit sequences that haven't gone anywhere
Oh yeah.
in the
okay.
last X number of years.
Absolutely, I would love to do that.
We could do an entire video on all the Eternals post-credit sequences.
Oh yeah. Well, let's. Do you want to do that now?
Let's do it now.
Let's do that now. It is MCU news after all. This is via Variety, who says, while Eternals ended with a note of suggesting the characters return in the sequel, the Chloe Zhao directed tentpole was a box office disappointment with 402 million worldwide, which isn't. That's not too bad now.
Yeah,
since some of the
absolutely.
things
Yeah.
that came after.
When you compare it to The Marvels, for example.
Well below Marvel standards, Marvel is reportedly not developing a sequel at this time. I think some of these characters will show up.
Yep.
But this is not a surprise. I think we knew this anyway.
That's true.
So, shock of all shocks.
Kingo, for example, might return.
Yes, exactly.
Cersei might return.
That's right. The big man sticking out of the earth will return.
He will certainly return.
Thunderbolts or Captain America's a bird.
That's right.
One of those two.
It's
All right, Mason, let's do this.
Okay.
Bo DeMayo has come out and spoken about why he was fired, let go from writing and show running.
rubbed his
X-Men
hands together and
97.
he went, "This'll solve everything
Yep.
for good."
Said, firstly, I'm grateful to have worked on X-Men 97, collaborating with some amazing, talented folks. Creating this revival was a dream come true to support. And the support fans have shown is so touching. However, I felt it pressing for me to speak up in the wake of me leaving the show.
For people who don't know,
Yes.
he was the executive producer for X-Men 97, and then
Contributed to the story.
and for
significantly.
season 1 and 2, and then before season 1 came out, it was announced he was fired.
It was like right before.
And people were like, "Why?" And there were a lot of guesses, and he had like a non-explicit OnlyFans.
Yeah.
and people were like, "Was he fired for that?" But they knew about that, and blah blah blah. But he has continued to tweet and
Yeah.
post on social media as the show came out, and
I mean, because it did well, and he was
Yeah.
given kudos for his contributions, etc.
Mm-hmm.
He said, above is my X-Men fan art I posted on Instagram for Gay Pride in June. So it's a picture of him dressed as Cyclops.
Barely dressed as
Barely
Cyclops.
dressed as Cyclops.
Shirtless Cyclops.
And Marvel sent me a letter notifying me that stripped me of my season 2 credits due to this post. And sadly, this is the latest in the troubling pattern I suffered while working on X-Men 97 and Blade, because he also worked on Blade.
And that's the tea.
I'll have more to say soon, but must take a step back from social media to find a safer place for me to be out, proud, nerdy. Stay tuned. So in response to these allegations, a Marvel spokesman said that DeMeo was fired after an internal investigation. They said Mr. DeMeo was terminated in March of 2024 following an internal investigation. Given the erroneous...
Egregious?
Sorry, yeah. I need glasses. Do I need glasses?
Try these. Well, these are more for...
Being cool.
Yeah, for being cool. Is that worse?
No, that's worse.
Okay, yeah. Well, they are for distance. So...
Try these. These won't help.
No, they won't help at all.
Given the egregious nature of the findings, we severed ties with him immediately, and he has no further affiliation with Marvel.
Egregious is a very strong word.
So they didn't say specifically, but then the Snyder, Jeff Snyder, came out, and I think this was a paywalled thing, so this came through Discussing Film.
I did see that. It was like, I've found the truth. And then it was like, you want to
pay some money?
Here's another thing as well. Our friend over at Weekly Planet Posters,
Very good.
who's on Instagram and Twitter and does fun, very well done posters based on stupid things that we say.
Yeah.
He did one for Borderlands. He did one for Boredomlands.
Yes.
And Screen Rant.
Yeah, ran an article.
Screen Rant ran an article. But here's the thing. I was like, I wonder what they've got to say about this. And I clicked it, and it's like, sign up and pay $1 for access to Screen Rant Plus or whatever.
What?
And I'm like, this isn't it. You didn't even do this.
I mean, we didn't even do it.
We didn't even do it. But you didn't. You're trying to charge people for a thing you didn't make. This is crazy what you've done. Anyway.
I'm not surprised. So anyway, the Insider said Beau DeMayo allegedly sent nude photos of himself in sexually suggestive hero poses to young male staffers working on X-Men 97, saying they could be used as inspiration. He also allegedly groped an assistant multiple times and was emotionally / physically abusive to other staffers. These are all allegations at this point. Something has obviously happened and gone down. I'd say if he was fired for that picture that he sent, that he sent around, the one that he displayed, that could have been the thing where they went, well, this is the thing we can get him on specifically.
Right, okay, yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
I hate this.
Yeah, we were not there. We weren't there for it.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem good for him.
No.
This is all the information that is out there.
Yeah.
We know as much as anybody else, but it certainly doesn't look good.
I mean, of course, people will remember many years ago, James Gunn was fired from Marvel because, various parties unearthed some old tweets where he was like being quite edgy and, et cetera. And so...
And that led to the DCU.
Yeah. On the face of this, you might be like, well, Marvel's overreacted in the past, so maybe they've overreacted again kind of thing. But maybe it's also like...
you said, the language that they used in that statement.
It's quite rare that they say egregious, I feel.
Absolutely. Or erroneous, which they didn't say.
They didn't say that. They've never said it, I don't think.
Wow.
Disney would never admit to anything being erroneous, I
don't
think.
And often... And you know what? They might be right.
Yeah.
But they're not here because according to the BBC, everybody reported on this.
Uh-oh.
Disney World is arguing a man cannot sue them over the death of his wife because of terms he signed up for in a free trial. I'm not laughing because it's funny, Mason. I'm laughing because
the Black Mirror-esque absurdity of it.
Because he signed up for a free trial of Disney Plus. So Jeffrey Piccolo filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Disney and the owners.
Why didn't he just shoot a big laser?
Yeah.
Because his name's Piccolo.
Oh, yeah, from...
Yeah. Is he the green one?
He's the green one.
That's what I thought.
And the owners of a restaurant after his wife died in 2023 after a severe allergic reaction from eating at the theme park. However, Disney argues in its terms of use that when Mr. Piccolo agreed... Which Mr. Piccolo agreed to when creating his Disney Plus account in 2019 means that they have to settle out of court.
Yeah, because when you sign up for Disney Plus, it's like if you have any issues with Disney, you have to go through arbitration.
Yeah.
This is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not shocked that a large corporation tried this.
No, not at all.
There's no way. Like, I imagine they're like, throw it out there.
See what happens.
And if it works, we set a fun precedent for never being sued again.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't work, we try.
Yeah, who cares, right? Because they haven't put a name to this. Like, they're not like Bob Iger said this specifically. It's just like as a corporation. You can, The entertainment company argues it cannot be taken to court because in terms of use, it says users agree to settle any disputes via arbitration, as mentioned. It says that Mr. Piccolo agreed to these terms when he signed up for a 1-month free trial.
Damn.
So he didn't even pay for it. Disney adds that Mr. Piccolo accepted these terms on his Disney account. Also, apparently he's suing them for excess of $50,000 plus legal costs. which is fuck all.
Yeah, 'cause they killed his wife.
Yeah, but it does. I mean, they presumably will lose this or
Yeah,
settle.
absolutely. There's no way. This
Is nothing to them.
No.
But they don't want the precedent of
Yeah.
people can sue us if they die in
their
our
wife
restaurants.
dies. Yeah. So, and as I understand it, they asked if the thing they ordered had a particular allergen in it. It was nuts or
I
something
think
like that.
she was alleged dairy and nuts, and, it had
And they
both.
said no, it doesn't
Yeah.
have those in it, and then it did.
Yeah.
And then she ate it. She died.
yeah,
So that's sad and crooked.
it is. It's fucking awful, and just to not be like, hey, we messed up, and
Yeah. Mhm.
like the least you can do.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
And I'm sure they're like, well, if we do that, the next person's going to be like, oh, my soup was too
if
hot or
people
whatever.
die in
Yeah.
your restaurant, you should.
My soup was too hot and I died. Well,
Yeah, well, it's like that McDonald's hot coffee thing became like a joke of like, oh, you could just sue for getting burnt by.
even though it was like lava.
she was
hot.
like severely burnt
Yeah,
by
yeah.
that, and it became this joke of like,
Yeah.
well, people sue for bloody anything these
Yeah, I
days. Like,
remember
you
that at the time,
permanently
yeah.
scarred this woman.
Mm,
Yeah,
well,
God, things
No-
are
no-
good.
I disagree.
Oh yeah,
I think most things are
my
bad.
computer was upside down.
Oh, okay, right. Yes.
I think your glasses did something to my eyes, Mason.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I think in most cases, any user agreement that's like 10 plus pages long, mostly not enforceable
yeah,
because nobody reads
exactly.
them. Because it's based on the idea of like, well, you're bound by this if a reasonable person would do it, but
Yeah.
no reasonable person in the world reads
Absolutely
a
not.
52-page user agreement or whatever it is.
And what? And then like go back and go, well, I don't agree with section 37
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah,
Because
exactly.
like, no, whatever. Anyway, bad.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Starting to think this Disney Corporation's bad news.
well, you're gonna love. This. Let me bring you around.
Okay.
This is via My Time to Shine. Hello, who has a 67% accuracy on Marvel Studios spoilers. But
That's a
also-
coin flip.
Yep, and gets things wrong. Oh, that's a bit more than a coin flip.
That's a weirdly weighted coin flip.
There we go. Hugh Jackman is apparently set to star as Wolverine after Avengers: Secret Wars. He and Ryan Reynolds want to make more Deadpool and Wolverine films together. This could just be a shot in the dark. I feel like
Absolutely,
anybody
yeah.
could say this, but it would not surprise
No.
me. He seems rejuvenated for the time being.
Yes, absolutely.
But talk to him when he's 60 in 5 years.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean
When his brain is boiled from
yeah.
HGH.
Again, it's a shot in the dark. How dare you? I think you mean boiled chicken and rice and broccoli.
Yeah, it's still hard work.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not, Mason, but he's juiced up to
Yeah.
the fucking gills, and God bless him. Also, he would be admitting to a crime. He'd have to come out and be like, I did steroids.
Right.
I took drugs.
Uh-huh.
It's a crime legally.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, you can't just
I thought
take...
it was just
stero-
against the rules of sport.
No, Mason.
Huh.
It's like a banned...
Is it?
You can't, you can go to a doctor and get them,
I'm listening.
but you can't... Do you see what I'm saying?
Is he not going to a doctor?
I don't know.
Wow.
Because doctors can't, I assume, maybe he does, but assuming where you are, you can't, this is not a medical reason to do it.
I know, but if you can go to a doctor and they can write you a prescription for this, there is no way there isn't a phone book full of doctors who wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
It's like when people go, oh, I've got anxiety. I have trouble flying on a plane. Can I have drugs? And they go, yes.
It is illegal to use steroids without a valid prescription to distribute them. So, yeah, you could go to someone and go, can I have steroids? And
I've got
a
arthritis.
shonky doctor could go, yeah. So, yeah, you could.
I
you can round
don't
it.
think there are any shonky doctors in Hollywood.
You're absolutely right. Yeah. Anyway, God bless him. I'm glad he's out there doing it. Better
Yeah.
him than me. But I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about just screwing with my hormone levels for the rest of my life.
Yeah, you get that big skull. Get that big xenomorph hybrid skull from too many HGHs.
Oh my god. Anyway, yeah, till he's 90, like the joke in.
Yeah, but I'm sure we've said, this sort of thing is always in flux. I'm sure he's thought about it.
Yeah.
I bet as soon as even if he was like, this is my last one forever,
Yeah.
I had a blast, thank you for inviting me back, Ryan Reynolds, or whatever it is. As soon as they went, oh yeah, we've made $1 billion, I bet he went, yeah, I could do another one
Yeah.
of these.
Also, it seems like he really enjoyed doing it and hanging out with Ryan Reynolds. They're mates.
They are mates.
Who doesn't want to hang out with their mates?
And get paid millions of dollars, tens of millions of
Have
dollars.
that big skull.
$50 million, that's right, yeah. God, just a couple of big boys in big skulls. Does Ryan Reynolds work out for those movies?
He does, yeah.
Okay.
That's such a brutal thing to say. Does he work out?
I don't know.
Does he even bother?
Does
he
he?
does, yeah, he
Okay,
does.
right.
But no, he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to do the extent of.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say Ryan Reynolds. I don't know this. He's He seems as if you could do that naturally.
Yeah, no,
But
absolutely.
on the back of like
Or
15,
not at all.
Yeah, 15
Just
to
a padded
20, 10
suit.
to 15 years of training.
Do you think before production started, Hugh Jackman was like, "You coming to the gym with me, Ryan? We're going to do this. We're going to pump up. We're going to bulk up." And then like Ryan just keeps like canceling on him at the last minute. Like he does it for a couple of weeks, and he's like, "Oh, I got a production meeting. Oh, I got
Blake Lively something.
I'll catch up later." Blah
Yeah,
blah
yeah,
blah
yeah.
blah blah blah. And then
Yeah.
like 3 months in, it's just Hugh Jackman getting huge in the.
Huge Jackman.
Yeah.
Huge jacked man.
Wow.
Am I the first to say
Yes,
that?
you are the first, actually. Yes.
Yeah. I tell you what, as someone who does exercise,
Uh-huh.
and you wouldn't know to look at me, it's fucking hard to put like and also I'm 40. So like it's only getting harder for me.
Uh-huh.
You know, the quantity you have to eat and maintain and like the consistency. And there is like a base, like you get to a baseline and you can always kind of get back to that.
All right.
But getting beyond that is like, it's difficult.
Tell you what, I love poached chicken and broccoli though.
That's good, isn't it?
Legitimately, I love them.
Do you know the amount of guys I'm subscribed to are just like, here's how you make a meal taste better. I never do it, but I'm like, I could make
You could do it.
pretend pizza.
You could imagine doing it, and that's almost as good.
That's right. Anyways, let's do this, Mason.
Go
James
on.
Gunn was asked on Threads, his social media platform of choice and one that he owns, I assume, about reshoots on Superman. And he said, because of course he's making new Superman, and he
Yeah.
said, I've done a total of 1 day of reshoots on my past 2 films combined.
Whoa.
And Ira Dickinson asked, what's your method for not doing a lot of reshoots? I'm curious. And I just found this interesting, so I thought I'd throw it out there. He said, I'm the best.
Whoa.
That's why I'm here and you're there. This is nothing to
I'm
me.
Hollywood royalty. You're scum.
He said, 1, over-prepare.
I'm talking to you from the bottom of my shoe. You're on the bottom of my shoe.
That's number 2, yes. And also, don't start shooting until I've finished a script my whole team is happy with. 3, hire actors and department heads I know can do their jobs. 4, surround myself with people who will challenge me and not just yes, sir, everything. 5, ask myself daily, are there any small imperfections in the script or what we're shooting that might end up feeling like huge imperfections when we cut the film together? And number 6 is number 1 and 2 again, whatever they were.
That's right. It was the thing about the guy being scum.
That's right, yeah. I don't know, because he posted before, but he storyboards literally every shot himself.
Yeah, right.
He knows exactly what he's doing, schedules it out.
Where's Sean Gunn going to be
Where's
in
Sean
this?
Gunn
screen-
gonna
in the
stand?
scene? He's going to
Stand
be
on
in
the
every
X.
scene.
Stand on the X, Sean Gunn.
Sean Gunn.
Yeah.
You've done this before, all
on,
right?
Sean Gunn.
Come on, mate. You can do it.
Yeah. I find that fascinating, especially, I mean, it sounds obvious, but most giant productions do not operate like this.
Yeah. This feels like he has just worked backwards from like older films
Yeah.
where they did this
Think
sort of
about
stuff.
it.
Yeah.
Think about
They
it.
think about it in advance because you can't just fix it in post. This is just the method they used when they used to shoot on film. They couldn't fix everything with visual effects.
Absolutely. My goodness.
Yeah.
Mason, what's that? Just a bit of theatre, everybody.
Huh.
We've got a special guest.
And that you announced by tapping on the,
No,
on
that
the
was
table.
him knocking on the door, and he's sitting down right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, look, we were gonna have one more bit of news, just you and me,
Yeah.
as best pals. But I guess we could.
Can he hear this? He's wearing earmuffs.
Yeah, that's right. But they are pricking up. His earmuffs are pricking up. Let's introduce him.
I agree. Now, Mason, we've got one more bit of news, and this is an area of news that we're not entirely familiar with, but the person who stumbled into our studios, completely sober, by the way, stumbling implies
so
that, like,
cold.
something's going on.
Yes.
I'm just wearing rather large shoes, and my feet are slipping out of them at all times.
We've got
a
Alexi.
little tribute to Mr. Charlie Chaplin, one of the kings of cinema, who
Completely
probably
agree.
did a big shoe thing.
Of
at some
course,
point.
he's famous for those big old flipper shoes.
Now, we've got Alexi Toliopoulos, who people might know from many projects, just known around the interwebs.
The Last Video Store podcast. Incredible.
Oh,
podcast,
thank you so much, guys.
which we'll be guesting on soon.
Absolutely.
Finding Drago, one of, I think, the greatest podcasts of all time.
Wow.
And
Oh
a
my
lot of
gosh.
people have said that. It's not just me.
Wow, to
Yeah.
be awarded such praise from the princess of podcasting, my lord, that I feel humbled, but I also feel powerful. So I feel neutral, I guess. So I'm somewhere between humble and really egotistical by that.
Yeah, normal.
He's
Yeah.
a Mr. Movies for every day of the week, not just Sunday.
Oh my God.
I'll tell you that much. Alexi, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, my friends. Thank you for having me here.
Just also want to quickly mention Finding Users, of course, which is kind of like there's one in between.
There's one in between Finding Desperado.
Yeah, but an
that's
incredible.
my favorite. But
Yeah, it's a good one. They're all good. But I mean, Finding Users, they filmed it, so you can see it.
you can actually see what I look like. It was a real face reveal moment for me.
You got to do the Matrix 360-degree camera situation.
That was my dream come true, dude.
Right?
That was my dream come true. That was a significant amount of the budget to about 5 seconds worth of film.
So before we talk about Alien Romulus, we just want to talk about this via THR that James Wan, who people would know from Aquaman and Aquaman 2, and probably that's it. Is that right?
Saw.
Oh yeah,
Fast and Furious sequel.
Look at this guy
One
go,
of them.
right?
Is he Fast 7? No, Fast 8.
he did the one where Paul Walker died.
Oh, Fast 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fast
He
7.
fixed that
the See
one.
You Again one.
He did the one where the woman had a person on the back of her head.
Oh, that.
Spoilers.
Oh, yeah. Well, I won't say the movie then.
Yeah.
Now that we know the twist of the film, I won't say the film.
Just go to your local video store and ask for the one where the woman's got a thing in a man in the back of her head.
But anyway, he's in early talks to helm Creature from the Black Lagoon. Now, of course, the Dark Universe you're probably familiar with.
Oh, how could I not forget
They
it?
tried to kick it off.
Yes, of course, with The Mummy with Tom Cruise.
That's right.
Was it Roberto Orsi or was it the other Star Trek writer?
Wow,
that
that's
did
a
it?
great question.
Thank you.
Kurtzman, yeah.
I think it's a Kurtzman, Alex Kurtzman.
Wow, there you go.
I'm known for my great questions, and that's just one of the many I have.
So, but you're a fan of the original, right?
Yeah, I love the Universal Monsters. That is my cinematic universe of choice, and I'm still heartbroken Dark Universe didn't come together so well.
Even though if it was dreadful, would you have been okay with that? Just
More than okay. I would have been absolutely rolling in it. That would be my dream scenario. They go, we're giving it a shot. We're going to make them really horrible and really bad. And they were on great track for that.
I completely agree.
They should have kept on going.
Johnny Depp was the Invisible Man. Javier Bardem was Frankenstein's
Frankenstein?
monster. I wanna
Yeah,
say.
so
Rusty
Yeah,
Crowe.
Burdella,
Rusty
yeah.
Crowe was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
two
yeah.
roles.
Two
The dual
paychecks.
roles.
But of course, this kicked back off again, sort of not as a universe, but they did the Invisible Man.
Yeah, by Lee Winnell.
Lee Winnell, of course, they started together on
Yeah.
Saw. Were you a fan of that one?
I thought that was excellent. I thought that was such a great thriller, and I thought it utilized those kind of classic monster tropes that we see in The Invisible Man, which is a lot funnier than people know the original Invisible Man.
Yeah.
But then I think the update was really great. I think the way that played with tension was fantastic. Elizabeth Moss, amazing,
Incredible, yeah.
Performance. I thought that was great.
a really unsettling, even though it was. This is kind of a spoiler, but we have talks about it. It was technology to make the man invisible, the Invisible Man. It was upsetting. It was an
Very
upsetting
upsetting.
thing to look at.
Yeah,
Real
the
tryptophobia vibes.
That's the
Exactly.
word, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a movie that I really enjoyed when it came out, and I haven't seen it again since because I just can't bring myself. Because it's got
to go back to
it's emotionally it's quite.
I mean, he's
upsetting.
barely in it, so it's fine.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. But also because it is so. It's so upsetting and so tension filled. We're going to talk about later about maybe some stuff we've seen or going to see. And I saw another movie this week that again I really.
You're not
enjoyed.
talking about Alien Romulus, though, are you?
No, I'm going to
Talking
see
about
that.
another one.
I'm going to have to see that so many times for the rest of my life. But I saw a movie this week that I really really enjoyed, but I don't think I'm going to be able to watch it for for a significant amount of time.
Okay,
It's
far
a
out.
lot.
It's
lot
a
to take in.
creeper.
Yeah.
It's a creeper.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
So would you rather see, before we move on, would you rather see these as individual projects? Do you want to see them all team up together and fight the Wolfman's brother or something?
Wow. I think I would rather them be individual projects. And then at a certain point, I'm like, hang on a sec. They're connecting these all together.
Yeah.
Perhaps they go onto a web browser or a desktop computer and go, hang on, what are all these icons? Let's click them. Hang on. Here's a Wolfman icon and I'm seeing a little CCTV footage of a guy turning into a wolf in a supermarket or something. But I think the Creature from the Black Lagoon is I think it is one of the very best of that kind of second phase of Universal classic monsters. I think that with that film in particular, it's directed by Jack Arnold, who is a real whiz with incorporating special effects and stuff. And he also did The Incredible Shrinking Man, which is just one of those ones that really holds up, early sci-fi film that really holds up as far as effects and excitement go. I think Creature from the Black Lagoon, the way I associate that film is it's got a bit of an adventure storyline. Like it's kind of like the African Queen. They're going up the Amazon or they're going up this river and they're kind of exploring. Not unlike Anaconda.
I was going to say, it sounds like Anaconda.
It's quite like Anaconda,
Yeah.
except there's a fish guy instead of a big snake.
So
Yeah,
do you think
right.
maybe somebody's mother could be researching creatures from the Black Lagoon in the Amazon, like maybe before she
Before she
died?
died?
And then somebody gets infected with some blood of the creature from the Black Lagoon and
Now,
becomes a creature
that
from the
would be
Black
very
Lagoon.
exciting.
That'd be
Very
very
exciting.
exciting, right?
But those ones are like, I associate those with like this like underwater photography. Like
Yeah.
they're really beautiful.
Yeah.
I think that film
Did they
is quite
fake a lot of it,
beautiful.
or was it mostly
No,
done
it's,
for
it's
real?
quite real.
Yeah, right.
It's quite real.
Quite real. I should see this.
But it's
Yeah.
also in 3D. Like they do rep
Oh.
screenings of it in 3D, and it's quite spectacular to see in 3 dimensions.
Yeah.
It makes you feel like you're swimming with creatures.
In black and white.
Of course, in black and white. You go, hang on a sec, is something wrong with my eyes? No. I'm seeing a black and white movie, but 3-dimensional.
So now what you've done here, Alexi, is you've really given us a sense of like the scope and the scale of that original movie and like the history of it and how it was pioneering in a lot of ways. So like we're really going to be let down by whatever this is. I think this-
I think James Wan he's a fascinating horror guy because I think he has an incredible technical skill and prowess, like and yet to be named movie where someone has a head on the back of their head that has a different personality that's quite evil. I think that film in particular, and I will not name it, you see like such a like high-low frequency of like what his taste is. Like I think that he either has the best taste in the world or the worst taste in the world, and there's no middle between.
God.
And he's executing both at the same time. And
Yeah.
I just think that I'm always down for whatever he's doing because I find it so camp. And I have not seen Aquaman 2, but I've loved every other movie he's done, including Aquaman 1.
At the end, Patrick Wilson puts a cockroach in a burger and eats it.
Well,
Not to
I guess
spoil it.
I'm in. I guess I'm in.
and then they were like, we should put this in the movie. This guy's crazy.
He's up for anything, this guy.
yeah.
Now, this week, of course, we've got Alexi Toliopoulos in to talk about Alien Romulus, Fede Alvarez's latest horror movie. He, of course, did the first Don't Breathe. He, of course, did the Evil Dead remake from 2013.
Not
But-
Evil Dead Rise, the other one.
That's right, exactly. Not the one where it's in a building. Both of those I thoroughly enjoyed. We can talk about what you guys think, but we don't have time just right now. On a budget of $80 million, it's going to make about $40 million plus in its US opening, which will make it the second highest debut for an alien film other than Prometheus when you don't adjust for inflation. Prometheus
God,
did
all
like $80 million.
All those provisos.
It's good,
But in today's money, that's
Yeah,
a
right?
freaking billion buckaroos.
Absolutely. Also, this like Prey was originally going to be for Hulu, but Disney went, no, we're not really doing that anymore. So,
wow.
So yeah. And anyways, before Mason tells us what the story was, how does everybody feel about Fede Alvarez as a director?
I think he's great. Like
Yeah.
I think that he is not unlike James Wan, someone who I mentioned earlier. I think that he is a really good like craftsman with horror and great at set pieces. And I think also when you think about the Evil Dead remake, I think he's really good at playing in a pre-established sandbox of like what
Yes.
he can do, what kind of showpieces he can take from pre-existing stuff. So when I heard that he was doing Alien Romulus, I would say there was a tingle in my spine somewhere.
And was the tingle maybe diminished slightly because he's making an Alien movie for Disney?
Oh, I think the tingle, I forgot the tingle was happening. And I forgot this, I'll be honest, I forgot this movie existed until about like 2 weeks ago. Oh, wow, this is coming out. And
Yeah.
then, so I was tingle free and then the tingle reemerged. And
Oh,
then
that's
I was
great.
like, okay, I'm not thinking about the big old mouse.
All right.
Now, in him like working in other sandboxes like in Evil Dead and this, because I'm not entirely sure that all of the things that he brings back from the sandbox should be in the sandbox. And I know, Mason, you have a similar opinion. Is that, do you, without getting into spoilers, we'll do spoilers in a bit, do you feel similarly or are you okay with
If I'm
the
detecting
callbacks?
what you're hinting at, I'm a Prometheus lover.
Oh, no.
Is that what you're
no,
saying?
that's
Okay,
not
yeah.
at all. I all that stuff works for me.
Okay,
yeah.
good, good.
Opinions on the internet
Yeah.
can be divided any which way at this point. There are people, that people are re-emerging as big fans of Prometheus and Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection, and some people are saying that
It's all in here, by
it's
the
all
way.
in.
Yeah, it's all there.
Yeah,
Everything's present.
People are saying everything's in here, and it's revitalizing the franchise. And some people are saying it's a horrible soup. You know,
Wow.
so
There's really one element.
There are soup-like qualities to this
Oh,
film.
yeah, you'll see a soup.
it's soupy.
Yeah. Anyway, Mason, what do you think the story was?
All right. So remember Aliens?
Yeah.
And remember remember Alien?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's in between those two,
Yes.
but not in the order you're thinking. Alien, then Alien, then Alien Romulus,
Yeah.
then Aliens.
Yeah.
So in the middle there,
Yes.
and it's set on a planet. There's a bunch of.
Is it a good planet or
No,
does
it
it
sucks.
suck? Yeah,
it sucks. It's the Aliens universe. Of course, it sucks.
Yeah.
It's an awful planet where you never see the sun.
Nah.
Everybody's sad.
Yep.
That
Everyone's
was
a
my
miner.
favorite early detail where they go planet Kremlinon, and then here are some facts about its population and days of daylight zero.
Zero.
I was like, they should have had a few more things.
Yeah.
I reckon, like tell you like, okay, salinity levels of the water. That's what I like. I don't know everything about this world.
Days of Darkness, all.
Or they should have done Days of Daylight 0.5, and then just one day everybody goes to the beach.
That's it.
Everybody really
Beautiful
treats
bright
himself.
day.
What I thought was fascinating about that world is that it does get sun, just not on the side where everybody's working. So you just kind of live in darkness. Yeah.
Consider a big fan. Move
get a
the
big fan.
clouds aside. You know?
Absolutely.
Anyway, this young lady named Rain.
Yep.
She's sad because she's on the sad planet, and her
I thought
parents
they
have
were
died.
saying Ray at first. I'm like, did they just name her after the Star Wars character? No,
I
they
thought
didn't.
Ray Romano. They're like, okay, they're like, we're big Romano heads over here.
Her parents have died, so she's sad.
Yep.
She lives on this planet that sucks, so she's sad.
She's doing mine.
All her friends suck, so she's sad about that as well.
Yeah,
I
they
think.
do.
But she has a best friend and brother in the form of a robot. Mm-hmm. He's a special boy.
Played by David Johnson.
Very good.
Yeah.
But her friends who suck, they're like, hey, listen, we could get off this planet. All we have to do, there's a little space station. It's floating above us right now. It's coming into range. We get up there. We can steal some bits and pieces from it, and then we can outfit our spaceship. And we can get the heck out off this planet.
We can
We've
get
got
some freezer chambers.
Basically,
right.
yeah. Now, they were fairly confident there was going to be no alien or aliens or Prometheuses up there.
Because I never even heard of these freaking
No, they didn't
things.
know.
I didn't know.
Those are classified
that's right.
items. The little scrubs digging out the coals from strange rocks will not know about this stuff.
That's right.
So you're a Prometheus fan.
Oh,
so you
yeah.
would have been over the moon at certain points in this
Oh,
movie.
absolutely. Over the moon and all the stars at certain points of this film.
Yeah.
Any Prometheus connective tissue, when I kept on hearing the words Prometheus being said out loud, when I kept seeing the pale white skin being hinted at of their engineers and such, I was absolutely rolling it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not often that maligned films get taken notice of in the
See,
public.
we recently rewatched it for a movie commentary. I loved the premise of it, and I
too.
love the cast. I love how it looks. I just think it's kind of written kind of shittily in terms of like the people in it and their actions.
Yes.
Like, and it's kind of something that I want to love it, but it's just like there's just that element of it I can't quite get past, and that carries over into Covenant, which I think I enjoy more. I think
I've only seen Covenant once, but I kind of bounced off that one a little bit. I think I'm exactly with you with Prometheus, where I'm like, this is the greatest premise. I'm obsessed with that kind of ancient aliens type stuff and origins of man. I think
Chariots of the Gods.
all of that shit,
Yeah.
Chariots of the Gods, I think is so interesting, especially like if it's connecting it to this is the origin of mankind. And guess what? It's fantastical science fiction. I go, great, thank goodness, I love that stuff. And I think that Prometheus, because of that, I will just love it blindly. Like
Yeah.
I just go, I will accept everything that happens in this movie.
I also don't like how they don't really explain the stuff in the movie, what's going on. And then in the interviews, they're like, oh, yeah, they're mad because of they sent Jesus. And it's like, well, you didn't mention that at all. And look, you don't have to put everything in a movie, but just like an idea of, you know, if there's certain themes and concepts that you wanted to convey, maybe have some of them.
Could the
in your
engineer
movie.
point to a picture of Jesus, for
Yeah.
example, above a mantelpiece?
And go, this one's for you, brother.
That's exactly right.
You're my literal brother, actually. We went to school together and everything. That would be cool.
And of course, Prometheus does have the excellent scene where Naomi Rapace performs
Oh,
surgery on
yes.
herself, which I think is, and I think Fede Alvarez, when he was promoting this, said, "Oh, we're gonna put in something like that.
Yeah.
we're gonna put in something that you are not." And I think the cast as well were like, "We couldn't watch this on the monitors because it's too gross." I mean, we'll talk about that later.
Yes,
but
yes.
I'm getting I suspect that you guys enjoyed this movie like I did.
I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
And your suspicions are correct on my side as well.
I wouldn't say like Alien and Aliens are obviously, you know,
Mm-hmm.
for me and many others are like the high benchmark. I think it's,
For others, it's Alien versus Predator Requiem.
yeah.
We know
Oh, by
this.
the way, 20-year anniversary of Alien versus Predator.
Wow.
Came out on August 13th, 20 years ago.
Oh my gosh. You know, that is how.
Feel old yet?
I actually do feel old. Hearing that, I do feel old. That was a core
We didn't get
memory
you in
for
here
me.
to make you feel old, just so you
Thank
know.
goodness. Okay. Unfortunately, I wander the earth feeling older every day. But that was how I accessed Alien for the first time. Was I
right.
rented Alien from the video store, and I was like, this is pretty boring and not as fun as the movie I watched last night, which was Alien versus Predator. And
yeah.
I thought it was just wicked.
Yeah.
Just
I mean,
wicked.
sure, having never seen those concepts and then you're exposed to that, yeah, it's a lot of cool stuff if you've never seen
cool.
it before.
Really
Yeah.
cool. But you know, and it's kind of strange. My opinion has changed. Now I do think Alien is better than Alien versus Predator.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, not everybody thinks that. You might get a bit of pushback, but
Some people like Alien versus Predator Requiem, where it's Alien versus Predator, but it's in the suburbs, all right? Some people like it, all right? All right, guys?
yeah, I think for me, it doesn't come all the way together. I think there are some lines, some callbacks, which I think are some of which we'll talk. One, a major one, which we'll talk about in spoilers, which is an interesting
Who's that
execution.
for?
Great
Because I
question.
feel like if you've paid for the ticket
You're in.
and you're in, I don't think you need... Is a group of people going into the theater to be like, yes, that's from Aliens.
Yeah.
That's a line from Aliens.
Oh, that line. I meant like a person that shows up.
Oh, sure,
But yeah,
yeah.
there is that.
Oh,
Like,
yes.
hey, they do the line, "Get away from her, you bitch," and it's.
I think they should have updated it with the C word for modern audiences.
But I think even "Get away."
You Karen? Get away from her, you Karen!
Yeah.
It's interesting that we're talking about different things like
Yeah.
that upset us. But with that line though, I think even the "get away from her" and then there's a pause.
Yeah.
I think that's enough.
Yeah.
You don't really need to take it further.
Mm-hmm.
But then, of course, if you watch these like chronologically, Ripley stole it from this movie. You know.
Oh,
So,
she's like, I read the case files.
Yeah.
I know the best way to freak one of those aliens out.
I think all in all, like the aesthetic in this is like of their home world, where it starts is awful in the best kind of way. Like, just I love the hints towards this universe and how it's just this soul crushing like capitalist nightmare that
Yes.
everybody lives under. Without like, you don't really need to see too much of it. It is hinted at in the other movies, but I love all of that. I like the aesthetic is clearly a mix of Alien and Aliens, like room to room. It even like you pick up bits and
Just
pieces.
those huge rooms full of like illuminated switches. Just
Yeah.
like you want to make a phone call, you got to go in the big booth of
Yeah.
switches to call mother. You know,
Absolutely. Yeah, bringing back all that like retro technology and that. I think that all that's really good. And of course, Fede Alvarez has talked about at length how, you know, most of the stuff in this, not all, but it's one part in particular couldn't be, but it's practical. All the aliens are practical. The face huggers
Yeah.
are practical. And he said that the hardest part of that is like you have to, like, it's easy enough to build something. Well, it's easy. Anyone can build anything.
Of course.
But then to like make
All
it
it
look,
takes is time and Legos, you know? That's it.
but then to make it look good on camera is another thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's a whole other skill. But I think some of the stuff that they did do really well, which was new, was like the face huggers themselves are a real individual threat, like a swarm almost
Yeah.
of them. I loved those elements. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you. The aesthetic is like such a strong point for me. And I think as well, getting into the film, I think that premise access point for me, but I'm also like so like intellectually fascinated by sequels. So I think
Yeah.
whenever I go, whoa, I see what they're doing here, I just automatically like something.
Yeah, right.
So I think for me, that access point of going, okay, we want to make a younger cast, almost like a teen horror slasher film
Yes.
vibe. I think the way of accessing that through the world building was just spot on for me, of going, we're following these orphans of capitalism, these people that have been stranded on this world because their parents were forced into like these, you know, celestial coal mines or whatever.
Yeah.
I found that to be so spot on and to be just like a great little sense of world building to thrust you in there and to kind of align you with the characters, whether you find them likable or not. I think it's just, it works in that way that teen slasher films do, where you kind of like some characters, you kind of hate others, but either way you kind of flop between going like, I can't wait to see this guy get face hugged to death, or I can't wait to see this person triumph. And I think it all sits in that aesthetic world as
Yeah.
well of just
Yeah.
going like, okay, we understand the shittiness of their life.
Yeah, I think there is a temptation, and some of it definitely does flow over, that you just make aliens again. You know, I mean, you see it in a lot of the video games. Not all. There's a bit of Alien Isolation in this as well,
Yeah.
if anyone's ever played it. And I think the fact that they didn't exclusively go, let's just do fucking aliens again. That's the one people like. It's the action one, and there is that in it. There's bits of it, but it's not exclusively that. Yeah, I like, again, like you said, that it's this young cast. Kaylee Spaney, is that how you
Spaney,
say it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Who was in was she in earlier this year?
Civil
War,
War.
yeah.
And Priscilla, huge
Yes.
year
Oh,
for this
yeah,
young
yeah.
I
actor.
gotta watch that.
Yeah, I have also not seen it.
Oh,
But
did you see
now,
the other one? The
I
Baz Luhrmann
love
one?
Civil War. Oh,
Oh,
and I saw Elvis. Yes, I love
And
that.
you love Civil War as a
I
concept.
love Civil War, and I can't wait to see Baz's take on it in any form.
I mean, speaking of the young cast, I mean, I think, you know, people are going to unfavorably compare them to previous casts because we've had, especially in Alien and Aliens, we have an Alien Resurrection and all of them,
Of
honestly.
course, Alien 3.
Yeah, Alien
I
3,
like
like
Alien 3. We
all
talked
the
about it
like
recently, yeah.
just all the various kind of character actor dirtbags we've had over the last several decades.
Yeah.
I have seen people go, oh well, yeah, well they're young and young and cool and beautiful, so I don't care. But I think we've had so long to appreciate
Yeah.
the crew of the previous ones, and as you said, Alexi, you know they're young and orphaned, and
Yeah.
you know.
I think also, and I saw an interview with Fede Alvarez where he talked about that original Alien. If you just look at that in isolation,
Yeah.
there's not
Requiem, like a Requiem, sure.
there's not actually they don't give
Colonial
all-
Marines.
they don't. There's not a lot really to them, and I don't mean like you don't find out a lot about them personally. Like you get an idea, like a sense of them as a person,
Yeah.
But you don't know who their families are or
Yeah.
what their hopes and dreams are. It's just like, all right, we're doing this. Fuck, okay.
Like there's a
Yeah.
moment in this where one of the characters, who I didn't particularly like, I found him annoying and aggressive.
British?
And British. Ugh. The worst combo. But like there's a moment where they launch the ship and he takes the moment of like the gravity well to like smoke a joint really fast.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's fun. That's
Yeah.
kind of, you know, okay, that's a little quirk of his
Yeah.
life and he's just kind of, you know, he's
Loves drugs.
He loves
Skins
drugs.
does Alien.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
That's the good stuff.
right.
We should probably do some spoilers, but before we do, I thought, I mean, everybody's saying this, but David Johnson, who plays the new android, it's
Andy?
Andy,
Is he
yeah,
Andy?
he
Yeah.
does.
Android, yeah.
It's I was going to say it almost. It is. He's doing dual roles basically,
Yeah.
without getting into spoilers. Incredible. I always find the androids like super fascinating, and just not to be like, I don't know, he's like Bishop again or whatever. There's something very unique about most of the androids in each of the movies. Well, which
I think you put your foot in it there.
yeah,
James.
I know. But like Ash is like Bishop is different than Ash, and
David is different from David, in fact.
exactly second David,
Yeah.
whose name might not be David. Second David.
Oh, they're all David to me, but you know, I'm robophobic. They're all the same to me.
But I thought he had a really unique twist, like not only as like a performance, but also
Yeah.
as a character. I quite liked. I guess one of the things I can talk about, which I didn't love, is things grow too fast. Like a
Right.
thing comes out and then it's grown up, and but that's a minor complaint.
You
Whatever.
think they should say have a little title card 3 weeks later?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's interesting you say that because I think there are elements to this movie where clearly they've had a meeting and they've gone,
Yeah.
okay, people are going to say, how can Kaylee Spaney shoot at an alien with a rifle because she's just a little girl and she wouldn't know how to do that. So they're like, okay, what if there's a device?
Yeah.
What if there's a device you bolt onto the rifle and blah blah blah.
I thought that
it's
was-
interesting.
yeah.
So it's interesting they didn't go, the alien eats rats. The alien eats rats and it gets mass and then
Yeah.
it gets it finds a way to get big. They didn't find a problem, and I think that's because this movie isn't really about. I think they were told not to expand the lore in a
Yeah.
real sense. They were like Prometheus, Covenant. There's too much like
Too much
overarching
going on.
cosmic lore.
Yeah.
You can't do any of that. You can't. You can't explain away any of the alien stuff.
Yeah.
There is. You can connect
Yeah.
it to previous movies.
They cannot find a crucifix with an engineer on
Exactly.
it. You cannot
yeah.
do that.
I think they're just like, this has to be more or less standalone. We don't need to.
Yeah.
We're not going to reinvent the wheel here. We're just going to make sure that nerds on the internet can't poke holes in
But we will.
whether that person can shoot at an
Those
alien.
pokers are coming out.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I agree with you. I think that's for me the most part a strength of this film. Going like, here is a lot of accepted lore. What can we speak to and envelop into our world building rather than building it into plot points too much.
Yes.
But I think that's kind of where I land on it in that area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But I would also agree with you. I think that David Johnson performance, it's incredible. I think it's like one of the best sci-fi performances I've seen in a while. And I think it's the most inventive thing this film does with like how it plays with, so like that really, for me, it's like the most tired theme in all of science fiction, which is like, what is it to be human? Because it's in everything, like since freaking Frankenstein, it's always there but then there's a few new films, like I'd say this and After Yang, a sci-fi film.
Loved After Yang.
Loved that movie. And
Really
I think
great,
they're really good at utilizing that thematic and finding a new way to access it. Like in After Yang, it's like, not just like what is it to be human, it's like what is it to be Chinese? Like it's so specific the way it's trying to do. Like how does your sense of self as an android relate to ethnicity and culture? I found that fascinating.
And death and
exactly. It's like the mortality aspect of it. And I think here it's like how does it's not just like what is it to be human, it's like how does who you are relate you to the people around you. And I think the way that it did that with about it on like a social level and a sense of self and a sense of purpose, I found it quite fascinating. And through this new prism of seeing this android go through a really quick change and still capture the feelings of both sides of this character, of one being a lower status character to then being switched to high status really immediately. I just thought it was the most exciting thing of this entire film. And this film has aliens flying through space.
That's right.
And I found
They
that.
switched the gravity off.
I know I said, you said After Yang. I was thinking of Mithrigan. I got my androids confused. When you started talking about death and being Chinese, I'm like, no, I'm thinking about the girl who did cartwheels.
She does a little dance. That's right.
Now that's a team up I'm dying to see.
So we give a rating here. We either give best movie ever or worst movie ever before we do spoilers. I'm going to say best movie ever. It also doesn't literally mean best movie ever.
I've listened to this program before.
Okay, you
yes,
get it.
yes. I'm not just a friend. I'm a fan.
I'm going to say best movie ever. Also, I think I think it was a very decent standalone. I thought it was suitably tense. I thought the action was very good. I thought there was some sort of creative
It's
ways.
gross.
It is gross.
It's grotty,
Slippery and
dude.
gross.
I think it could have been grosser.
Yeah.
It's one of the more yonic films of the Alien franchise, and that's a yonic franchise.
Oh yeah, I thought there was some kind of creative action sequences, and it's pretty good. I didn't feel I wasted my time at the movies.
Yeah,
Of
absolutely.
course. I'm not time wasted either. I'm also saying best movie ever.
Excellent.
And you can put that on the poster, dude, if you really want to.
I do actually, and I will. So spoilers from here on out.
God, what if somebody just mined our podcast for like DVD covers or whatever? Like every middling movie we've said, yes, I guess it's the best movie ever. They just Sony re-releases all their movies. Best movie ever.
We've never given any of their movies a best movie.
No,
ever.
that's true.
So
Alexi, how do you best movie ever? Yes.
Yeah, I'm going best movie ever. I'm locking in best movie ever.
So Ian Holm is back, which I found absolutely fascinating, but I fucking hated it.
So for people who don't know, in Alien 1, the first Alien, he plays Ash, one of the crew who turns out to be an android. We're surprised by that.
Milky fella.
That's right. God, he's so milk in, milk out. You know what I mean? And in this, he plays there is an android called Rook, half an android.
I thought it was just going to be a little, because you see him kind of slumped over, and I'm like, oh, that looks like Ash.
Yeah.
They're probably just going to, that'll be it.
Yes.
It'll be like a little callback.
But I was forewarned. So somebody
you knew?
I didn't know specifically, but someone on Twitter said this movie has committed the sin of resurrecting a character, and I'm like, okay, well, it's either going to be Ian Holm or Bill Paxton.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought it would be Yaphet Kotto.
Oh yeah.
I thought it would be like they just bring him in all CGI. I was like, let's fly out of here, baby.
But it's his character from Live and Let Die.
Yeah, bring in that balloon. It's already made.
Now that's exciting. Yeah, we've got it. We've got the deflated Yaphet Kotto. We brought him back.
Seal the doors.
Yeah.
We've got the Yaphet.
The helium hissed out of it years ago, but he's ready to come back.
So I've just got a bit of information about how they did this, and I think that kind of informs how we've got to talk about this.
First, they prayed to Satan.
Yeah, that's right. And it worked. So his name's Rook. So he's technically a different android, but apparently he has the same consciousness because Mother connects them all. All these androids are connected.
Wow.
So it is Ash, essentially.
Yeah, right, uh-huh.
So apparently this is via EW. The whole thing started, this is with Fede Alvarez.
When Uncle Fester farted?
Very good. Yes. And also calling the estate, the Holm estate, and talking with his widow. She felt that Eden was given the cold shoulder by Hollywood in the last years of his life, that he would have loved to be part of more projects after The Hobbit, but he wasn't. So she was thrilled about the idea of having him back. And look, I think that's great that they did that, obviously. I mean, just because I didn't enjoy the execution of it, I mean, if his family is happy with it, then who am I
it is
to
you
say?
know, the standard here is, did they ask the family? Like that's the only hurdle they have to cross here is, or did they just go, no, we own his likeness. We'll
Let's go for it.
Yeah, let's go for it. We own Christopher Reeve's likeness. Let's chuck him in. Why not?
Absolutely, yeah. So as soon as they finished the rough version, the first thing they did was call the family to make sure they were the first ones to see it. It was very emotional.
Hey, check this out.
They
Look,
lost.
he's waving. Don't look below his waist. Don't look below his waist.
They lost him not too long ago, and I lost my dad too around the same time, so I could relate to their pain and also the excitement to see him back in the movie. I'm super proud of how we did it and how we worked with them. I can't wait for the fans to lose their minds at seeing one of their favorite faces from the original. I don't understand. I guess I don't entirely have a problem with bringing him back, but I don't know why they didn't do like a busted like Bishop puppet like they did for 3.
Yeah.
I think the idea, because apparently they did, Daniel Betts did the voice.
Yeah,
and
so
facial
that was what I
performance.
wondered about. Yeah, but it's not AI.
Yeah.
it's pretty accurate.
It's
I
really
think.
good. I thought it was very good AI. That's what because
That's what I assumed. Yeah.
And the creation of Rook, this is all we know at the moment, is a combination of an animatronic built to resemble Holm and the actor Daniel Betts performing the lines. It's basically a deep fake on a puppet, it seems.
Yeah,
and you can see that.
There's something about the chin that's quite off, you know?
For me, it depended. It was shot to shot. When he first appeared, I'm like, this is not convincing. But towards the end, either I settled into it, or maybe they chose they were like, let's work harder on it for the later scenes because that's where he needs to really emote or he needs to, they're really interacting with this character the most. So let's try harder at the end. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, thematically it works because some of this movie's about like the depravities of capitalism, and
Absolutely.
I think they've got some metatextuality going on here.
Right?
Yeah.
But I also, for me, I'm kind of with you guys where I go, was I deeply offended by this? Not quite, but I also I never thought, it had to be this character. It had to be Ian Holm. It had to be that. Like, just get Martin Freeman in and goo him up or something like that. I don't think I don't think it was necessary.
If he's alive,
Yes.
and even if they did all of this without him and he was alive, I would feel differently about it again. But again, I'm not his family, so they were happy for it. Also, you could use any android. Presumably there's more than 3 of these dudes, right?
Exactly. They should have brought an android from a different world in.
Absolutely.
Like Android 18 from Dragon Ball Z. There just was a fully animated character in there. That would be great. Like Roger Rabbit style we're going in. That would be
Bender
cool.
from Futurama.
Wow.
Whoa, they own them all.
Wow.
So, yeah, I don't know, man.
Get away from my shiny metal ass, he could have said.
Okay, see? Now you're reinventing the lines. That's what they need to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know. It was I think I got used to it as it went on, but
because he's in it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like a I guess my assumption going in was to be a character that he'd or when he was introduced, I assumed it'd be they'd lift his head and it'd be like, look out, there's going to be aliens or whatever, and then he shorts out and that's the end of it.
Yeah.
But no, he's in all of this movie.
Yeah, he's a villain basically.
I do wish it had been kind of a little bit more creative in the way that they tackled it. Like if it were, you get one moment where it's that full, like, Grand Moff Tarkin moment. But then if they just go, okay, we're only going to hear his voice from now on, or we're only going to see him on a computer screen. There's something, I don't know, I think just there's a more tasteful way to have done what they had decided to do.
Yeah, I think the version where he's, for a lot of the third act, he's like it's just his face on a screen and like the scan lines kind of, the 80s
really
scan
good.
lines kind of cover up the flaws in the deep fake. But I mean, if I read an Aliens comic book and it had a version of Ian Holm as Ash in it, I'd be like, that's a fun little nod kind of thing.
Is it the fact that it's a little bit off-putting, which makes it as upsetting as it is?
It might be, because it's the chin. I don't know how else to say it.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
There's like not enough bone in it or something.
Yeah.
You
It
know?
was like kind of flopping around a bit. Yeah. I don't know, man. I just don't know. Anyway, so...
We're not built to be grappling with this kind of existentialism,
We're really
We're not.
We
We said it was the best movie ever. What more do you want?
It's interesting because he comes back in Alien Isolation when he was alive, and he doesn't voice it, but he gave permission to use his likeness. So Ash is in that game. So I don't know, man.
Like Marlon Brando in the Godfather video games.
Exactly.
Very interesting.
And Marlon Brando in Superman Returns.
Like Al Pacino in the Scarface video game. When it turned out he didn't die at the end of Scarface, but he's actually back. And he's got to rebuild his empire.
And contractually stopping him from being in the Godfather video game when they had to create a whole new Michael Corleone character.
Did they really?
Yeah, and
Love
he's
that.
handsome.
You saying Al Pacino's not?
Oh, I think he's one of the most beautiful men that have lived. This 3D mock of a new guy. They did a good job.
And also, the Godfather video game got turned into the video game Flashback. Did we talk about this? I think
What?
we did.
Oh, we have before, yeah.
Did you ever play the video game Flashback?
No? What is
There's
this?
there was a video game back in the 16-bit era called Flashback. It was
Yeah.
like this platform action game.
Yeah.
And it was the future, and it was kind of a little bit Blade Runner, a little bit Running Man, a little
Whoa.
bit all like a combination of stuff. But it started out as a Godfather. The company that made it started out as a Godfather license.
Was it going to be a side-scrolling shooting game?
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah.
But it was
Godfather Vania. I
Yes.
like it.
So basically, they were like they gave it to this French company called Delphine Software, and they went away and they came back and they said, "Okay, what do you got for us?" And Delphine was like, "Okay, what if it's the Godfather, it's the mafia? What if it's about a guy running from the mafia?" And they went, "It's pretty good." And then they were like, "What if he had no memory, so he didn't know why, so he's got to figure out why he's running from the mafia."
Whoa.
And they went, "Oh, that's pretty good." And then they went, "What if it was the future and it's in space?" And they went, "You've gone too far." But they already made it, so they were like, "Yeah, we're
Oh, that's
Yeah.
fascinating.
Wow. I'm actually blown away by this.
yeah." But then they did make a side scroller and was bad.
Oh, okay, good. That's great. Oh, just quickly on the Ash head, I think it's really interesting that in the original Alien, it's not quite perfect. Like it is this rubber puppet that they kind of got wrong and then they just had to go with it. And this one is also not perfect and upsetting, but it's in completely different eras of technology.
Yeah.
And they both don't quite nail it, but for completely different reasons. I love that.
Maybe I like it now.
Yeah, maybe we all like it.
At least it's better than Christopher Reeve or that Nicolas Cage
Nicolas
cameo where it's like,
Cage.
I didn't film this. I don't understand what this is.
That looks quite horrifying. That's so I didn't feel as mortified as that, but it's just like, I don't know. But hearing the family liked it, I'm like, well, who am I? I'm some scrub. I can't. My opinion matters less than his
Hey,
children.
man, don't talk about yourself like that.
Okay, I'm superior to them in every way.
That's Also, I bet they got more money for that than he got at his entire, just,
Almost certainly.
yeah.
Bring him back in the Time Bandits TV show as well. That's what's going to happen next. He's got a whole new second act in his career.
I also think it's fascinating that...
Bring him back as his character from Big Night.
Oh, yeah.
The restaurateur from the other side of the city. Anyway, he's back.
So it's like an $80 million movie. It's all practical sets and practical, puppetry and aliens and men in suits and whatever. And then they're just like, there's a CGI man in the middle.
Oh,
of
yeah,
it.
we haven't even talked
Like,
about
that
the
is
man.
that is fascinating. Oh, I meant the Ash character.
Oh, yeah. But we haven't talked about...
We've got to talk about the man that's in this.
So
There's a
Wow.
Prometheus man.
yeah, so
Wow.
so in this movie,
Wow.
Isabella Merced is one of the crew,
Mm-hmm.
and she's pregnant, and then Andy the android has been taken over by the corporation, and he's been given a mission. Then it's to acquire this DNA rewriting substance that's on the station.
It's the Prometheus stuff.
It's the Prometheus stuff. And so Isabella Mercer's character gets injured, and then she decides, on the way back to the ship, she decides she's going to inject herself with this to see what happens. And
She got a 25% chance of it working.
Yeah.
Because we have 25% DNA share with rats.
yeah, and that's the science. And anyway, she gives birth to a big egg.
Yep.
And
Filled with acid.
yeah, an acid egg, and then it cracks open, and it's a sort of an engineer guy, a real gangly engineer man.
And he's an incredible creation.
I
I'm
agree.
So unsettled by it.
And it is very Alien Resurrection. It's a human hybrid, which I didn't love. And people are very divided on this third act, but I really liked it. I
Yeah.
thought what a fucking weird thing to both call back to and then design it. Like it's got the bone white skin and the black eyes and the
weird
smile
grin,
of
yeah.
it. It's just all of it is just like I saw it with a mate of mine. And he was like, "That fucked me up. I didn't like
Yeah.
that."
I went to a high school with a guy that looked almost exactly like that.
Oh my-
Also really tall.
Can we get him on this show? Would that be
Oh
all right?
yeah. He will do it nude, unfortunately. But I think as well, like it's the head was so creepy. It looks like it also looks like, the first time we see he who must not be named, Mr. Voldemort.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
In the
Unless
Philosopher's Stone.
You don't say it. You say it.
Oh God, well, they're gonna come track us down now. But I thought it was just a magnificent creation, and I think like when we were talking about like the ionic nature of it, the kind of the pulsating vulvaness of this film, like I think all of that applied to that character, like the spindliness of it, the weird being like the weird kind of like relationship that he has with his birthing mother, like in the scant moments you see it, I found it like actually disturbing, and I think that is something I've not felt in I did not expect to feel in like the 6th Alien movie or whatever. I was pleased by that.
Well, here's the thing, and
Did you see Splice? Just quickly,
I've seen Splice.
It reminded me a lot of that.
Splice?
It's a very
It's an
Splice.
Adrian Brody movie. They genetically engineered this.
Canadian horror.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
By contrast, even though I like the movie, I'm like, I don't know about this this weird third act where it's a spindly guy. Isn't this an alien movie?
Yeah,
Shouldn't he be more of an alien?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, he has the
I
same
get
body.
it. It's a callback to Prometheus.
but I think that's how people are responding
Yeah.
to this. I think that's
Can I tell you what I think it is now? Why I liked it was not just like the Prometheus thing of it, was you think about the aliens, the xenomorphs, they're like strongly defined by this exoskeleton. And I think having this character, the look of it is, you got a gross Prometheus engineer head on it, but then the body feels like they took the alien exoskeleton and just made it a skeleton with
and
skin
put
covering
skin
it.
over it. Yeah.
I think that's so gross.
And it does have
Yeah.
the protrusions on the back where
yeah.
the odd spikes are going to pop out.
Yeah.
I guess that's true. And I guess, the idea that it is this chemical is meant to convert people into a form that is more able to survive in space, and that's what the engineers look like, because they're the perfect organism, allegedly.
I also think it's interesting how it played with the lore, but not explicitly, because it's kind of implied that like maybe David created the aliens. But if you think back to the original Prometheus, they also find that mural and it's got like the aliens on it. So the way I look at it is that
Everybody's just riffing.
Exactly.
They're just riffing on the
He's
DNA.
just doing jazz on the DNA, and he basically rediscovered the alien. So the way I look at this is that like the biology of everything is already in that, and that was just him tapping into it. So I think it doesn't. I think if anything, it muddles the kind of the history of this substance and like these creatures and how they're all intermingled. And I like that because I don't want like a guy made them. Like a guy just a robot, he made them. Like I don't love that.
Oh, we haven't even talked about that. The connection to the original Alien is that the original Alien in the movie Alien didn't
of course,
die.
yeah.
It lived in the vacuum of space. The one that Ripley blew out the airlock, and it's in this movie. That's just it made it to this space station and started messing people up.
And that's almost the only law that they add to it was like, now we want to take that so we can survive in harsher conditions and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's an Alien comic that's coming out in October. It's called Alien Romulus 1, and that's going to explore that. Because you see that alien in this. And I assumed that it was like probably a different one, but like initially until they say it's not.
Yeah.
But I didn't even hate that they brought it back. Like I thought, and then they got it. Like they killed it. Like it's.
I mean, it does prove that Ripley is a failure because she.
It diminishes my favorite character.
That's right.
So it sealed itself in its own kind of bio cocoon,
Yeah.
I assume.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great opening, like just coming across that, that the wreck and all of that.
So did that alien lay alien eggs? Because
No, I
where
think-
did the aliens? Where did the
I
eggs
think
come
they
from
were.
in this
They
space?
said
on this
they
space?
reverse engineered the DNA. I think
wow.
Rook
Okay,
said
right.
that,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
I don't know. I might.
That
have
does
missed
make
something.
sense when you reverse engineer the DNA. So.
Yeah, I do think like the actual Prometheus, the legend, the myth Prometheus, the way that it incorporates this, I did find that quite interesting. Like that is I think like so much of like horror films, it's all about transgression, and it's about like transgressing further and being punished for it.
Right.
And I think
Yeah.
that this continuing the feeling of like Prometheus taking fire from the gods, kind of thing, and being punished for that. I think the way that they take it from this as we've got the transgression of our characters, which are they're going to steal something and they're going into a place that they should not have been and they're being punished for that.
Yeah.
But the more thing that is being punished is like it still continues to be humankind being punished for reaching beyond their stars and like what they should have been doing and intermingling like overtaking God, building stuff out of DNA. I think for these characters, that's a nice tragedy for a teen horror film to be suffering the consequences from transgressions of the human race and capitalism. I think
and not
that's
even
cool.
necessarily them specifically. That is really interesting. You know a lot about movies.
Oh, I watch every movie with my quill and scroll out, taking down my notes.
Spinning acid, that's pretty good. That's a new thing.
Yeah, I thought
that was
I mean,
sick.
we're gonna.
That was awesome.
I thought that was pretty cool. You know, the idea of we can't shoot these aliens because they'll burn through the hull.
Yep.
So what if we did a cool thing? And of course, she's got the gun that's got the smart
Yeah.
Yeah.
thing on it, because otherwise, how could a little girl?
When they came
borrow
up
a
with that, I
gun?
go, of course, that's what I would have done.
Definitely,
That's
yeah.
how I would have figured it out.
And thank God there was an egg filled with acid. I'll tell you what.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing that I really liked in this was it kind of does go back to that Prometheus of the new way to have the chest burster be that operation to take, basically a cesarean section.
Yeah.
I think with this one, the little elements where they kind of go, well, what's a new way that we can do that? I think that X-ray torch moment
Incredible.
where you see it set up, you go, she picks up an X-ray torch and you go, oh, I can't wait for them to utilize this in this chest burst theme. And then they use it so throwaway. It's like 1 second they use it, you see it, and it's over. I thought that was just such a great way to build it up and then go, doesn't even matter. You knew we were going to do it. Here it is, and keep going.
I love that as well. Like when they just use tech in a movie and then they just throw it away. It doesn't become the whole thing.
Yeah.
I remember there's one moment in, what's Neil Blomkamp's second movie?
Chappie.
No, the one before that. It's got Matt Damon.
Oh,
Elysium.
Elysium.
Yeah, there's a moment where they have to like cut a hole in a car and they use this laser cutter and it just blasts a shape in the thing and then they just throw it away and that's it. They don't explain it and it's like, well, that's a really cool piece of technology. You could probably make a whole movie. Oh, no, never mind. Yeah, love it. I got
Zachary Levi could be in a whole movie about cutting holes in things. You know? Zachary Levi in the shape cutting box. You know?
Zachary Levi in the menagerie of pinking shears.
So I want to I want to talk about the future of this franchise. Before we do that, just got some reviews that people have written in,
Oh,
if
yes.
anybody minds.
Of course, I don't
I don't
mind.
mind.
Read
All
away.
right. It's from RC.
Quills at the ready, boys.
That's right. I
Reviews
respect the
incoming.
listeners.
This is from RC Dominion, who says, just got out of the theatre for Alien Romulus and my heart is still racing. What an incredible third act. Best movie ever.
Please go see a doctor. Please, if your heart has not stopped racing since seeing a movie, you must see a doctor.
Russell Michael says, Alien Romulus.
Also, settle down. It's just a movie.
Yeah,
all
come
right?
on, calm
It's
down,
not even
mate.
real.
Wow, when you walk into a film, you feel the empathy of the character. So I'm on his side, RC.
Russell Michael says, Alien Romulus might be the third best Alien movie, although I have never seen 3 or 4 in totality. Certainly better than the 2 terrible prequels, although Ridley Scott shoehorned a connection. Oh, yeah, Ridley Scott produced this and had a minor hand in this, I believe. Surprise appearance of an actor I did not expect. Best movie ever. Mike Jorlan says, Alien Romulus was enjoyable. I found the last 10 minutes to be the most interesting, so I wish more of the movie had focused on that. Still best movie ever. Nick Flanders Farmer says, just saw Alien Romulus, thought it was really well made. Great cinematography, and I love the cameo from the Parliament Station escalator. Remember that? There was an escalator.
Yeah.
The member berries were a tad unnecessary. Best movie ever. And that's all of them.
The Alien franchise is sort of shaping up similarly to the Mission Impossible franchise, where everybody's got a different ranking.
Yeah.
And nobody's really wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, there's stuff to like about all of them. Even Alien vs. Predator.
Yeah. Well, the suburbs came alive.
That's right. You better
It's
look
like
at it.
Alien does Disturbia.
I mean, you think the suburbs are pretty quiet, but they've got a dark underbelly. I'll tell you that much.
Whoa.
That's right.
David Lynch has been concocting some thoughts in this guy's head.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
this,
did you see the news about David Lynch? It's very sad.
oh yeah,
He's got
emphysema.
emphysema. Oh, he's got emphysema, and he said it's not all bad news. He can still direct.
Yeah.
You know, he's got to do it remotely and blah blah blah. But then I just loved the first part of his post, which just God, I love smoking.
I love smoking. I
Smoking's
don't
so
regret
good.
it. It was great.
So in terms of the future of this franchise, this was more of a kind of a throwaway kind of interview from Deadline. They spoke to Fede Alvarez, who said, maybe it's something, they asked him about Alien vs. Predator. He said, maybe it's something I could co-direct with my buddy Dan. So Dan Trachtenberg directed
yeah,
Prey.
Right, yeah.
Maybe we should do like Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez did with Dusk Till Dawn. I'll direct half and he'll direct another half. Now that's kind of a throwaway kind of
Yeah.
thing. How does everyone feel about that if they merged these two
Wow.
kind of...
Well, firstly, let me correct him. Not from Dusk Till Dawn. It was actually Grindhouse, Planet Terror, and the Death Proof. So sorry, Fetty.
I didn't want to say anything there.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm all for it, but I also don't have like that deep connection to these films where I go, you must uphold the laws. You must you must play by my Bible. I'm like, oh no, muck around. I don't care.
Yeah.
Send the alien back. Get them all together to like, you know, do something on a weird planet, like Predators. You know, they go.
I love Predators.
Yeah, it's
I'm
a good
big
movie.
fan, yeah.
Well, Adrian Brody, get him back.
Get him back. I'm really annoyed the way that they left that. Like, they're never going to touch on
Isn't
it.
there a sequel comic book?
Yeah, but it wraps up the same way. It
Okay,
ends
right.
in the same way the movie ends.
right.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's nice. Just going. By the way, here we go again.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'd be happy for Fede Alvarez to do another one of these, and you know, just see what he wants to do with it. I guess
Yeah.
you know.
But also, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what they could possibly do next. I guess they can just keep doing individual things because I can't.
Yeah.
I don't see it happening the same way where we go, okay, we need to continue Alien with aliens and we need to get Ripley back. I don't
Yeah,
see
I'm
Kaylee
not-
Spenny being
Yeah.
that, you know, Rain Romano. That's how I have to remember it. I don't see that as like such a necessary connective tissue
Yeah,
for
right.
continuing it. I
Yeah.
think she's excellent in the movie, but it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's sort of such a, you know, downer of a universe. Like you can't really see this is the one where they do a full on assault on Weyland Yutani and they
Yeah.
take him down for good. It's like not that kind of universe.
No.
It's
Yeah,
kind
exactly.
of, you know,
Also, it ends the same way that Alien Covenant does. That ends with Michael Fassbender freezing Catherine Waterston.
Oh, yeah.
And so if you wanted to do callbacks, you could make a direct Prometheus Alien Covenant.
they could have a
Romulus sequel.
maybe
Team up.
Rain and they could have a bingle in space because
Yeah.
they both set off in spaceships.
Oh
they
my
could,
God.
They
Yeah.
could meet up by chance in the
Hang on a
fun little
second.
adventure.
Have you got a weird friend that's a droid with you? Hang on a second. We got more in common than we thought.
Yeah, I do kind of want to know what Michael Fassbender is up to in space. Yeah,
And I
am
want to
interested
find
in
about
that.
the origins of man. That's
Yeah.
where,
Cool,
let's go
actually.
back to that.
Yeah.
Let's figure it out. All right, shall we move on to the next segment of the show?
Yes.
What's it called?
It's got what we're reading.
Yep.
What we're gonna read.
Whoa. I'm doing the thing. What are we reading today?
Now, Alexi, I wanted to ask you about this because you're one of the few people we know who's seen Megalopolis, Francis Ford Coppola's maybe his final movie. We'll see.
Who knows? We'll find out.
Maybe he'll get cancelled.
maybe, yeah.
Now, this is for people who don't know, Francis Ford Coppola's mega epic. He's taken $100 million of his own money.
He sold the vineyards off.
Yeah.
Love
He's
it.
cashed out. He's cashed up. He made his long gestating project. I
Yeah.
think the last time it almost came together was like 20 years ago. So,
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
It was
now-
like it got derailed by 9/11,
yeah.
right?
So it's like he's been thinking about this for a long time, and now he's finally achieved it.
Because we've only seen a couple of trailers,
Yeah.
and in the first teaser, it's got Adam Driver. He's on the edge of a skyscraper,
Yes.
and it's sort of very kind of hyper real and glossy and mirror finish, and he can stop time.
Yes.
and
And
I
he
guess my
shouts,
question
"Time stop."
He says time stop,
And time stops.
and I guess my question is. Has Francis Ford Coppola somehow accidentally reinvented early 2000 superhero movies and he doesn't know? Is that
Oh, it's not that far off, like in the gooey material of like what this film is.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I think the most that I can describe accurately to how it is, like this is a very weird film, a profoundly strange film.
in a way that's like this is
palatable as
Yeah.
a normal movie?
Yeah.
I found it palatable, but I'm interested in like ambitious,
Right.
nebulous takes from huge auteurs.
Absolutely.
Right.
I
Yes.
completely, I'm 100% with you on that.
I'm not, but I try.
Because who doesn't love a big swing from
Yeah.
a lunatic, right?
Exactly, and
Yeah.
this is a huge swing, and the guy's
From a lunatic.
nuts.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that like, with the best way to describe it is, it feels most like like true surrealism, like Salvador Dali's take on Julius Caesar, the William Shakespeare play.
Yeah, wow.
Like that's the most kind of way I can describe it. Because like, yeah, Terry Gilliam's a surrealist, but like,
Yeah.
no, this feels like
Because
Salvador
it's
Dali.
sort of an alternate United States? It's a sort of maybe a different timeline or just
different
not
future.
really.
It's hard to describe. Future, past. It's like strange. And the other thing that kind of definitely feels like Phantom Menace. Like there's a little bit of Phantom Menace energy to this film.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you think that's
Just
because,
a man left alone?
Yeah.
Is that what we're talking
Well,
about?
because you just said that, James, that it was derailed like
Yeah.
in the early 2000s. Do you think that's because maybe his artistic sensibility kind of froze there, or
It could have, because it does feel like that, but also like politically, it's like doing a lot of political stuff. The way that those kind of feel like Shakespearean politics rather than just like current day.
Baz
or,
Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet?
That's in the mix too. I'm putting all of that in the mix here. Yeah, so it's a profoundly strange movie, and I think if you go in, it is knowingly humorous as well. Like I think you can.
I read some reviews that were like, "Is this intentional? Is this?"
I think it's intentional. I mean, he's got Aubrey Plaza in the movie. It's like that's an actor that has like a comedic prowess, and she's playing a character that's funny. So I think it's like it's an odd mix, but for me, it mostly worked. It mostly works.
Now, I know you talked about like visually how it's very glossy and all of that, because there was talk on the production of how like he wanted certain things and then he would change, and then he was pretty much like, "Fuck it, we'll just do this on green screen."
Yeah.
Does it look like shit?
I think it's a good looking film. Like,
Okay.
but don't go in expecting to see like Godfather
Yeah.
visually or anything. It feels very different to that. It does feel.
Does it feel old? Not like a throwback.
Oh yeah. I don't. It's actually so hard to describe in that way. Like I think the way that it looks kind
Archaic,
of,
I guess. What is? I'm trying. I don't know how I'm trying.
I'm trying to say. I think Sky Captain World of
Okay,
Tomorrow.
yeah. Now you're
Alright.
speaking out language.
Yeah, Sky Captain, but achieved with knowing how to make something like that.
Interesting.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Wow,
the
okay.
20 years later of it all, they're
Yeah.
like, okay, we know how to do that.
Yeah.
Did you like it? I mean, it seems like you did, right?
I liked it. Yes, I liked it.
Do you think you liked it because it was him, or do you think if you didn't know and you just saw this, it's
Don't
impossible,
know.
isn't
We
it? It's
can't.
impossible
You
to
know,
say.
that's
Yeah.
it. I'm not in a vacuum being
Yeah.
cryo opened, popped out, going, here's your first memory of the world is seeing this movie without any pre-ordained knowledge. So I unfortunately, I cannot answer that question no matter how
Fair
deep
point.
I look. And I'm more biased than most when it comes to this stuff.
And one more question.
Mm-hmm.
So for people who don't know, there's a moment in this movie
Yep.
where someone in the audience or in the cinema is required to ask a question to Adam Driver's character.
Yes,
Is that
to
correct?
Mr. Catalina.
And you had the honor of doing that.
Yeah, I was
in
the
cinema.
first person outside of Cannes to do it.
Wow.
So
So I
how
was-
how did this happen?
I got an email about doing it. Because it premiered outside of Cannes at Sydney Film Festival, and so they asked me to be that. So there's a moment in the film where there's like a press conference type thing, and a journalist comes up to a microphone that's set up. The house lights go on, and the journalist is to ask a question directly to Mr. Catalina, Adam Driver, but it is. It's not the audio in the room. The audio is baked into the soundtrack.
Oh, so you don't have to shout out.
I didn't have to say the lines, but I had to lip sync to it.
Oh.
So the
So
line
you
is-
knew they'd given you the audio before? I
they
assume?
had given me from filmed was inside the Cannes screening of
Right.
like how it looks and how it's set up.
Were you nervous doing that?
Yeah, I was really nervous.
Yeah.
I was really nervous about doing it because it
Like,
was
do people even know what you're supposed to be doing it? Like, is
Yeah,
that like?
but that's it. People don't know. Some people have been hearing rumors. Other people would have no idea. But there's a point in the movie the house lights just come up, and I knew when that was happening, so I was prepped. I'd done a rehearsal,
Wow.
and so I'm to get up, and when that happens, and the light, like just before, so I should already be walking. The house lights come up. I've got a microphone like in a stand, and I have a pen and pad. These are instructions.
do you have to wear a little outfit?
I almost did. I almost did wear a little press hat. I wanted to do something like that, but I think I was wearing almost exactly the same thing I'm wearing right now. It's
a good look.
Which is I am wearing a suit, not just to impress you guys, but I am wearing a suit. Let it be known. I'd been given that, and I'd been given like a thing from American Zoetrope, going like, this is what you're meant to do. You're meant to have these things, and here is the line. And usually, and from the video that I saw, like the person doing this is at the front of the cinema, that right in front of the screen. So you only see the back of the head, kind of like Dickie Knee style. The head's like
there we go.
wobbling
Now
around.
you're talking our language.
Yeah. But because of the IMAX in Sydney, if I were to be at the front, not one person would be able to see me.
No.
So I had to be kind of in the middle of the cinema, so people would be able to clock me. So I had to live up to Francis Ford Coppola, one of my favorite filmmakers. I learned to lip sync as close as possible, like to get it timing right. Because I didn't want to detract from, I didn't want to distract, I didn't want people to do that. And another reason I was nervous, George Miller was watching. He was in the cinema watching it happen. So George Miller and Chris Stenders, the director of Red Dog, he sent me a really nice message up to go like, man, you did a great job. I go, oh, thanks, man.
And I'd know I directed Red Dog, he said.
Put me in 3, man. Put me in Red Dog 3. I want to ask Red Dog a question. Mr. Dog. Mr. Dog.
Red, if you will.
Yes.
How did that go down in the room, though?
People were like, whoa. Like, they were like, they were... Most people thought that it was my voice as well, but
great
Jason
performance.
Schwartzman's voice is the one in the film.
Okay.
But I think it was like, because the movie is so bonkers already at that point, to just have this is so much weirder than that, to just go, there's something happening live in the room. So it is kind of exciting, especially in a festival format. I think it's exciting. But now I'm like, I wonder what it'll be like in regular screenings.
I was going to say, what are they going to cut it out? Are they just going to have it as a voiceover?
Well, I believe from my notes that I had seen, I think it's like set up so that someone that works at the cinema can do it.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of
like a kid who's 14 and 9 months old. Yeah. He can just get a job.
He's in the cinema uniform. He's got TikTok on his phone in one hand. He's just like, excuse me, Mr. Adam Driver.
So Lionsgate ended up picking it up.
Yeah.
And
Mad Men in Australia.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we are getting it here.
Yeah. As a representative of the film, I can report it. And I will be doing the junkets.
Are you really?
No.
Oh, damn.
No. I mean, I would be on the 2. I would be on the 2. I would love to travel the world with this film with my castmates, Adam Driver and Aubrey Plaza.
Incredible.
Yeah. Put it on my CV, I reckon.
Yeah.
You definitely should.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
Anything else you've been?
What else have you been up to?
I've forced that confession out.
That's also good enough.
You
You
watch
don't-
Megalopolis. You don't have to
have
have
to have
anything else.
another thing.
I'll
Sometimes
give
we
you
go,
one more thing. I think because it is like film festival season at the moment, one of my favorite films I saw in film festivals, I think it's such a crowd pleaser. Almost, I would say it's like the indie crowd pleaser of the year for me. It's a movie called Kneecap by a filmmaker called Rich Pepiat. And the basic premise of this film is it's a true life biographical film about this rap trio from Ireland who rap in language, like they rap in Gaelic and Irish, and they are a new band. Basically, they've been around for, I don't know, maybe a decade or so. But it's like but it is a biopic like about them, and they play themselves in it.
Oh, interesting!
And
Right.
it is coincides now, like their first big album has just come out this year as well. So it's like coinciding with like their rise to fame. So it's like a biopic like stripped from the current headlines almost.
So it's not like a tour.
No.
It's
It's not Spice World.
Yeah,
it's
right,
not Spice
right.
World. It's more, if anything, the thing I would describe it most like, it sits exactly between 8 Mile and Trainspotting. So it's kind of got the energy of like these really energetic, fun, bouncy, independent films from like the 1990s. It's such a blast and so well made, very exciting. And I've got an episode of my podcast, The Last Video, so with Rich Pepiat coming out very soon as well. But I think it's just like such a fun crowd pleaser. Like that's the best way I can describe it. It's a crowd pleaser.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, see
I've
with
seen
your
the
Irish
trailer.
mate.
It looks very
Very
exciting.
It's cool. It's weird.
James, what do you got?
Oh, the band's called, did I say the movie name?
Kneecap.
Oh, wow.
Kneecap.
They're called Kneecap as well.
I
just blacked out completely and go, did I just talk about a movie and not say the movie or anything else about it?
We
They're
did
called
talk.
the Irish Rap Band.
Yeah, it's the woman with the guy on the back of her face. Or whatever. It's fine. This isn't anywhere nearly exciting or as art house as what you've been talking about. But my son and I have been reading Batman: The Adventures Continue, which is a continuation of Batman the Animated Series. It's like a follow-up There's 3
Wow.
volumes at the moment. I don't know if they're going to do any more, but it's Alan Burnett and Paul Dini who worked on the original.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's more of the show. And they
I
bring in
love
more of the
that.
modern elements. So it's like there's Court of Owls and other
Oh,
like,
interesting.
things that
Okay.
you
Whoa.
wouldn't have gotten in the 90s that they kind of bring back. And obviously, because Kevin Conroy is now gone and Mark Hamill doesn't want to be the Joker anymore, like, we're not going to get this. Even though we did get something recently. It was,
Side note, did you see that they recently released a DC animated movie called Crisis on Infinite Earths? And part 3 was released, and people were like, the Joker in this, he sounds a bit odd. It said they said it was going to be Mark Hamill, but it doesn't sound like him. They released it with a temp track of like an
Before they
intern or
got
a
him.
production guy or something
Oh,
who
whoa.
recorded it, and so they've since patched it. So
Mm.
if you watch the streaming version, it's patched, but if you bought the physical one, you've got a version with just some guy.
Just some-
Yeah.
Just some
Whoa.
guy.
Because Mark Hamill was like, well, if Kevin Conroy's passed, you know,
Yeah.
I don't want to do it without him. And
Yeah.
they got him because they happened to have recorded some lines.
Whoa.
So they got him back. But anyway, it's just a bit of fun.
Yeah.
Just a bit of
Wow.
fun.
I
like,
Just some
yeah.
stuff.
I like it when they reintroduce when they get the old characters and they
Yeah.
update it for the modern times.
Yeah.
There's also Alexia, a Batman 1966 comic book series, and they've done Bane 1966 and etc. And
I saw
team
it-
them up with Wonder Woman and all this sort of
An
stuff.
animated telemovie where William Shatner played Two-Face or something
Oh,
in
right.
the 1960s
Oh,
mode.
that's right. They did
Yeah.
that. They did an animated movie. Yeah, they all
Yeah.
came back when
I love
some
that
of them
shit.
are alive.
And they've got the Batman 1989 universe
Yep,
comics
they
as
do,
well.
yeah,
Like,
those are
that's
good, yeah.
cool.
and that crosses over with the Superman 78 or whatever, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
At some point, yeah.
Yeah, I like that
Cool.
shit.
I watched a new movie called The Substance,
Hmm.
which is not out yet, but I saw it as part of the Melbourne International Film Festival. It's coming out in September, I think. Wide release. It's directed by Coralie Fargiat, and it's got Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley, and Dennis Quaid. And it's Demi Moore plays a woman named Elizabeth Sparkle, who's she's an Oscar winner. You've seen this, Alexis?
Yeah,
as
I've
well,
seen it too,
It's
yeah.
she plays this Oscar-winning actor who now does a kind of aerobics fitness show, and she gets fired on her 50th birthday. But then, like by coincidence, she is told she is the perfect candidate for something called The Substance, which is a subscription box that you can order, and it's just one simple injection. And once you get it, you become more beautiful and more perfect and more youthful, and it's going to change your whole life. But you can only do that. You only become more beautiful every other week.
Right.
And there's a very complicated procedure, and it's and provided you follow it to the letter, nothing could possibly go wrong.
Well, that's good.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Sounds
nothing
nice.
does.
Yeah, it's
But,
a lovely film.
Yeah,
lovely
my
film.
God. She just regains her youth. She goes cycling in the park and
That's
stuff.
awesome.
No, it's super gross.
Yeah.
It's sort of I think the inspiration does include like a David Cronenberg
Yeah.
kind of thing, but it's a really good premise. The execution is really good. I think everybody's great in it. So it's Demi Moore's great, and Margaret Qualley plays a younger version of her.
Yeah.
Dennis Quaid is a TV executive who's doing some
Unhinged excellence.
incredible cocaine acting,
Yeah.
and it's just really well executed.
Yeah.
It's funny, it's disgusting. It's one of those movies where you don't go, "Oh, this is a rip-off of." It feels like it's got you recognize a lot of influences, but you don't go, "Oh, this is really derivative of."
This is
Blah,
Death
blah,
Becomes
blah.
Her, etc.
Yeah, exactly. You go, "Oh, there's a little snippet of this, and it feels like this and this and this, but it's its own thing, and
Yeah.
it's really just."
And it's got a great aesthetic. Like it feels commercial at points. Like
Yeah,
you're like
yeah.
commercial aesthetically. Like it's very fun.
Like and this like even down to like the subscription box.
Yeah.
Like when she opens it up and it's got all it's all these really simple instructions on
Yeah.
these like beautifully printed cards.
Yeah.
And it feels like a subscription box for like health supplements or something
Yeah.
like that. And it's really like viscerally upsetting, like a lot of the audio and the visuals and God, it's a good movie. It makes you feel stuff.
Yes,
I
it
tell you
does.
what.
People puked in my screen.
Yeah.
Did they really?
Someone
Yeah.
puked twice, and one of it landed on my friends.
Oh my God. That's like going to Megalopolis and having somebody ask a question in the audience.
Very interactive
Yeah.
film. Very interactive.
But
film.
I would say, like Cronenberg, the movie about the person in the back of the head.
Yes.
Yes, of course.
Carrie, the Elephant
Yes.
Man, like all sorts of good stuff.
Yeah.
So around September 20th, apparently, it's
Yeah.
getting a similar.
Yeah.
We can probably talk if you want to watch it when it comes out.
I do want to watch
Yeah.
it when it comes out.
Yeah, and I saw with Zach Ruane from Auntie Donna, and he said this thing that I'm going to say again, and I wish I had just stolen it from
Oh,
him,
yeah.
but I
You
must
can.
attribute it to him.
Yeah.
Edit that out, please. But he said that it's body horror, but it's more trauma, Toxic Avenger in its take rather than Cronenberg in its execution.
Yeah.
I think that's like a great way to describe it because it's fun and silly and not as existential as the Cronenberg kind of feelings of body horror.
Yeah, absolutely,
But
yeah.
it's like it's a ripper. I think it's so fun. Like, please see in the cinemas of her audience, and please have a big lunch before you do. We got to get some of those chunks flying in the cinema.
I saw it at the Astor, so like Melbourne's like sort of iconic big.
The Cavern.
Yeah, the cabin, and it was full house, and everybody, loved it, and people were like, you could hear people going, "No, don't! Oh, no!" And it was awesome. And so you could hear people go, "Oh, no, don't!" And some people like the other side would be like, "Nah, do it, do it," and then people applaud at the end. So it was a good,
great.
It's a good
Yeah,
time.
it's fun. Take the kids. Just kidding. Don't do that.
I
It's
never do it.
irresponsible to do so.
Now, Alexi, before you step out, you, of course, do have an amazing podcast called The Last Video Store, as mentioned.
Yes.
You have incredible guests and incredible
Upcoming
conversations.
guests, incredible as well. You two are going to jump on that very soon.
Who's to say who? Who's to say who?
I'll say it.
It is us.
It's going to be us, yeah.
yeah.
Where you talk about like classic movies and modern movies and look. Not to spoil the premise, but yeah, it's fantastic. It's it's just got I love the concept, and it's just you're an amazing host.
Now, this will be
thanks
are
so
you going to
much.
be? Are you going to be in Melbourne for the next week or so?
For the next week or so, yeah.
And will you be doing some Q&As?
I'll be doing some Q&As for some movies. I've got a Q&A with David Lowry, the director of The Green Knight. That'll be like a
great.
full talk.
That's so cool.
And I think he's supposed to be jumping on The Last Video Store as well.
Oh, great.
But yeah, I'm so excited to have you guys.
Yeah, so
Like,
if you're in Melbourne, go to the
go
Melbourne
see
International
that.
Film Festival
Yeah.
website. If there's tickets still available, you can pop in.
Pick them up. But yeah, The Last Video Store, I'll just say what it is. It's kind of like Desert Island Discs type show,
Yeah.
but about movies and set in the Last Video Store that has every single film. So we talk to people about their favorite movies and stuff, an old school video store rental combo. Yeah.
Love that.
George Miller's been on. We've had Chris
Yeah.
Hemsworth. We've had Angela White, the famous porn star. Oh, yeah. Very
Amazing.
exciting. Very good stuff.
I made a weird noise then, but like
Yeah.
she's a
Put
wonderful
that,
guest.
Put that at any point. Yeah, that's a favorite stuff.
Yeah. Also, Finding Years, of course. We didn't mention that up top,
yeah.
but like your video series is amazing.
Thank you so much.
Detecting, doing your best detective work.
Oh, I'm one of the great detectives. It's me and Batman. We're the best. But yeah, it's all on YouTube as well now. Last Video Store's on YouTube too. So you can see the freaking CGI set that we've created.
Love all of that.
Megalopolis style.
Are you looking for another? Are you looking for another mystery to solve? Is the series sort of contingent on you finding another?
We're trying. I'll say
Yeah.
that we've been through hell and back trying to make some more stuff in the Finding
because
style.
for people who haven't seen it, it's what I enjoy about it, and what I'm sure a lot of people enjoy about it it's funny, yes. But it's also a real investigation.
It's real.
Yeah.
It's not like we're like, oh, they're obviously faking the whatever. You know, it's
we are
so
researching.
to some degree it is contingent on you finding
I would say
another
we
unsolved thing.
found a lot of great mysteries like all around Australia.
Yeah.
We just need to find avenues to express ourselves
All
through.
right then, yeah.
To say that in the most polite, pretentious way possible. Yeah, we're trying to do more. So hopefully keep your eyes peeled, keep your ears peeled, and keep that nose peeled every sensor we tackled in our next version.
All right, thank you so much, Alexi
Thank you,
Toliopoulos. That's your
Alexi.
name, and I got it right.
Yeah, toppy loppy lops. Yeah.
All righty. What's the next segment, Mason?
It's letters.
Yeah, let's do it.
James, it's time for letters.
The classic one was letters, oh letters, we love you. Some letters, they're only a day away. Now they're here right now. We're going to do letters.
Letters Gangnam style.
That's right. And Alexi
I was doing Gangnam style.
He was, and Alexi just flew off.
It's true, did he? Flew off the bloody
Flew
handle.
out of the- oh, he did.
Yeah. We said we are going to do letters, and he's like, nuts to this, he said.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, just under his breath. That's why he didn't hear it. Anyway, this is the letter segment of the show. If you do want to reach the show, you can hashtag Weekly Planet Pod on Twitter or tweet at us directly. Or I'm probably going to put a thread in the Great Mates group from now on, or probably if I remember. And Mason, you've a Gmail at weeklyplanetpod@gmail.com. There's too many things. Some of these
Yeah.
have to go.
You think so?
Just quickly, though, I forgot to mention
I
this.
love that people can use whatever method they prefer.
Yeah, but you only look at one of them.
That's true.
So I was on the 100th live episode of Who Knew It with Matt Stewart.
That's terrific,
Which was a lot of fun. You can actually check that out.
That's great.
It's live.
Hey, speaking of Matt Stewart.
Yeah, it was fun.
And also, because we forgot to mention these at the top of the show,
Yeah.
I was also on this week's episode of Do Go On because Jez
God.
Perkins, friend of the show, was in America getting married.
Getting big married.
So congratulations. We've all got
Huge
stuff going.
news.
We've all got stuff going on. For example, I was on an episode of Dig On.
Exactly.
And we learned, Matt Stewart taught me and Dave Warnocky all about Pokemon.
Wow. And did you
A lot of
like
fun.
it?
I did like it.
You
yeah.
did- I'm pretty sure you said I didn't. Just
No, I
then.
did like it.
Well, that's
I
good.
didn't stutter.
You did like it.
I did stutter.
Great.
Yeah, great.
This is from Twitter, #WeeklyPlanetPod. It's from Chris, No Gods, No Masters, who says, what are your
Damn.
biggest movie disagreements? I know Meso has strong opinions about the Pinocchio movie, whilst James doesn't. She's like, that's true.
We have fun, don't we? We have fun being betrayed, don't we?
Sure we do. I would say it's probably, in terms of movies, it's Looper.
Yeah. I
You
hate that
don't
one.
like Looper, and
I
I,
don't
think
like
it's
it.
great.
But it has been so long since I've seen Looper. I don't even think I've seen it on home media.
Wow.
I don't think I've ever streamed it because
Yeah.
we've had no requirement to.
No.
And over the last at least decade, I've learned to enjoy stuff.
Yeah.
That I've learned to uncover the hidden depths of movies, I guess, or just be like, well, this sucked because of whatever. Well, maybe there's some redeeming value to it.
Do you think-
And I do like everything else Rian Johnson, so I don't know
True.
particularly why I don't like Looper.
But do you think it's something to do with us having similar opinions because we grew up in the same era and we knew each other when
And
we
the
watched
same
we watched
location,
a bunch.
basically.
Yeah, we basically watched a bunch of the same crap, often together.
Yeah. mhm.
So we're just in sync on most things.
Most
Is that what's
things,
happened
that
here?
might be the reason, yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Would this make for a more interesting show if one of us just pretended to hate the thing?
No.
No.
I mean, we've reached
Oh.
the point. We've reached the point as well. I don't think either of us could sustain that.
No.
If whichever one chose to be like, how do we even do that? Would one of us go? We'd have to do every week. One person had an opinion.
Yeah.
And then the other person would have to be like, no, I
Opposite
disagree.
opinion.
And then we could switch every week.
We do often get people, not often, but it's more on YouTube, just like, oh, you got the standard opinion that everybody has. Oh, who knew that these guys like this or whatever? But it's like, what you want us to do is have your opinion.
Yeah.
That's basically what
Yeah.
that means. I've never,
Sorry, the general consensus of this movie is that it's good.
or bad.
Or bad. And so we said that because it's true. Sorry, this movie was incompetently made, so it's bad, so we said it's bad. What do you want from us?
I don't know. For me, like, if somebody, even I know who I like, is like, I fucking hated this. I'm not like, oh man, that's really ruined my day. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's interesting to
Yeah.
me. Like, why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was fully, if we just talked about Alien Romulus.
Yeah.
If Alexi came in and was like, I thought that sucked. I mean, he wouldn't say that. But, if he did, we'd be like, yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
You're right.
We're easily steamrolled.
Yeah, you know a lot about movies, I guess.
That's right.
What have you got in terms of letters this week, though?
Here's an email from Ryan.
Ryan?
Dear James and Meso, been a fan of the pod since you guys started it back in 2015. Is that true?
Oh. No, 2013.
Oh, well. I'm now 24 and listen to old and new
What?
episodes while I work. During an episode, you and Meso said that you guys saw every movie in theaters from 2003 to 2005.
Okay.
Well, after listening to that, it has inspired me to do the same. I plan on seeing every movie in 2025. Do you think I will succeed?
No.
And will I hate myself for seeing these movies? Have a great week.
You need to bear in mind that that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money and it's a lot of
What's your job? What are you up
devotion
to?
of time. And do you just mean theatrically released movies? I think that's probably
Great
easier
point.
now.
Yeah, I think so.
But in terms of like we could do it back then because movie tickets were like $8.50 or something.
$8.50, we could do it.
Yeah, cheaper on Tuesdays.
Yeah. Now if you
Time
go to a
past
D-box,
Tuesdays.
it's $31 fucking dollars.
Right.
And they're always when I need to see the movie somehow.
And then
feel
I
like-
said, "Can you turn the D box off?" And you said, "Yes, you can."
yeah, but you still got to pay the amount.
that's true.
So I feel like my local cinema is hemorrhaging money except for me. So
Right.
they've catered their show times around
Yeah.
me specifically.
That's right.
Because I have to see these movies, Mason. Yeah, interesting stuff, Mason.
Very
This is
interesting
from the
stuff.
Great Mates group. This is from Alan Jenkins.
Anyway, email back in and let us know if it's are you including
Yeah.
Netflix releases? What's the
Yeah, what does he mean?
You cannot possibly also mean like streaming releases.
we don't believe you.
Yeah.
is what we're saying. Mason, Alan.
I believe you though.
I don't. Alan Jenkins says, with the
Jenkins?
release of Alien Romulus, is there a franchise you think you could make a great interquel? I think there's probably an interesting. You wouldn't now. It's too late. We're covering the Terminator movies for Caravan of Garbage, the first two.
yep.
I mean, there's stuff in between there you could do.
Yeah,
that probably also happened in various comics and books, etc.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the criticism of the MCU is that the characters evolve off screen.
Yeah,
like you
okay.
see we're really just seeing 2-hour snippets of their lives. I'm sure you could, it'd be expensive.
Yeah.
But you could fill in the blanks with what did Wanda and Vision get up to in
Oh,
between.
the Crows next week.
What no.
No. So
Oh,
I was just looking
no.
at next week.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
What's-
Crow interquel. What's between the Crow and the Crow City of Angels?
Just crime, I
no
guess.
Crow.
No crow though.
The Crow, no Crow.
Just a bunch of crime that was not important enough for the crow to intervene with.
because there was no Crow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The crow, no crow, I think is. Would I watch it? I would, to see if they carried off. They won't. I mean, when you think about it, a lot of the Crow movies are mostly no Crow.
It's true.
There's probably more no Crow in a Crow movie than there is the Crow.
Oh, man. It says the
Yeah.
Crow's not out till Friday. So, yeah. God damn it. And I can't go on Friday because I'm on that live show.
Yep.
And I'm free Saturday. But guess what the session is? The one session that they've got. It's fucking D-Box, Mason. God damn it.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway,
Hmm.
any other interquels that you think in between things?
I'd love to see all the what the Ocean's crew get up to in between big scams.
Yeah.
The Ocean's 11 little scams, it'd be called.
Little scamps, little scams.
Little scams.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I've ever asked for an interquel. It's
No.
just sometimes there's some room there to put something. You know, like Rogue One,
Yeah.
interquel.
John Wick 2.5, mostly reloading. Just in a room, just thumbing
Yeah.
the bullets into the magazine, you know?
Mostly reloading.
Mhm,
Yeah. What have I got here, Mason? What do you reckon it is? Do you reckon it's from the Great Mates group?
Might
It
be.
is.
Do I get a chance to read an email?
Didn't you do one?
Maybe.
I'll do another one. Oh, that was my one, wasn't it? I
Yeah,
did
yeah.
interquel. Sorry, man.
Here's some ones that I think are good.
Okay.
This is from Elias.
Elias?
Great energy on this week's episode, mates. The energy reminded me of the early episodes where you would sometimes do dilemmas. Here's a dilemma for the pod.
Ooh.
You either have to sacrifice one random person on Earth or be sentenced to a porridge year, a year where you're only allowed to eat water-based porridge. And how many people would you sacrifice to avoid a porridge life? Where is the limit? Love the pod. Your Norwegian friend Elias.
I mean, through the butterfly effect, we've all probably killed someone.
Oh, you think so? You think the podcast has killed people?
Not necessarily the podcast, but just a person living.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
But I mean, in this, we are presumably
You're basically pushing a button to kill a random
Well, I think in
person.
this instance, they're pushing a big bowl of water-based porridge towards us.
Yeah.
And we're saying, no, thank you, I'm going to do a murder.
Yeah. I mean, do you get, like, is it killing me? Like me eating porridge for a year, will that sustain me? 'Cause I feel like
Oh.
I'd die.
Yeah, that's probably true, actually.
And look, I'll roll the dice on killing somebody else who's not me. But if I can live,
If this were a Twilight Zone episode, James, or possibly The Outer Limits,
it would be someone I knew.
well, no, the next scene would be somebody also being offered that choice.
But then they kill me.
Yeah, then you die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're so selfish
I am
and you
so-
won't eat it.
Well, that's-
you won't eat a porridge every
To
meal
die-
for a year.
to
Having
die-
a porridge year. Yeah.
Porridge myself to death.
Porridge yourself to death.
So if I could live through it, I would do the porridge year.
You probably get lean.
Probably get so lean.
So
or
lean.
bulk. I don't know.
Yeah, what does porridge do to you? It's all carbs.
It's all
isn't it?
calories and carbs, man.
Yeah.
I mean, presumably you've got your milk with it. Can I choose my...
No, it says water-based porridge.
Fuck. So I couldn't choose my milks?
No.
And then I'm getting different sustenance from different types of milks?
No, you're not allowed to
Can't
do
get
that.
an almond milk or an oat milk or a soy milk or a cow milk?
Doesn't say. I don't think so. No.
Okay.
I also is this a common thing, a porridge year, or is this has Elias invented the is a porridge year a common Norwegian hypothetical? I wonder.
It's a sequel to A Marriage Story. It's a porridge year.
Okay, great.
It's just Adam Driver
Well,
in an empty apartment.
I am sick of eating this porridge. He'd say.
In this porridge year of
Yeah,
mine.
that's right.
Smash.
Smash on the wall.
Yeah.
I would. I don't know. I do like porridge. Can I put a drizzle of honey on it?
No, Mason.
It doesn't say I can't
Well, you said I couldn't put different milks.
because it says water-based porridge.
But it doesn't say you can put shit on it either.
It doesn't say I don't.
Because otherwise it'd just be like, I'll have it with an apple. Then I'll
It's
just
Air
eat an
Bud
apple.
rules. There's no rule that says I can't put a drizzle of honey on it. So I'm going to say yes, I would do a porridge here.
So I can't drizzle on other
A milk?
milks.
No. Oh. It says you know what? It says water-based porridge. So I think you can drizzle on a milk.
Okay.
Okay.
But if we can drizzle, that's a completely different
Or
scenario.
a yogurt.
I could put on some protein powder. I'm bulking up.
Wow.
Bulking all year, Mason.
Porridge boys. We're doing it. All right. That's right. You thought we'd agree to murder, but we didn't.
No.
We're
We're doing a porridge year.
We're doing porridge years. We're going to be better than ever.
That's right.
Yeah.
This one's from Cameron Gonzalez from the Great Mates group, who says, do you feel like you have a podcast voice now? And if so, do you find yourselves using it in real life?
Yes.
My voice is this is like an exaggerated version of who we are.
Yeah,
I would
right.
say. I'm probably not when we're together.
No, although
This is mostly what we're
I
like.
have I've from time to time finished the podcast and gone to meet with various people, and on a number of occasions they've said, "Have you just done a podcast?" Because I'm still in the mode.
Oh wow!
So-
no, I've never had that. I'm quieter in real life. I'm
Yeah, right.
more low key. Like I'm because you don't want to come on here and be like, "Ugh," which is what
Yeah,
I'm normally like.
That's right.
But it's not like exhausting. Like doing this, I'm not like, oh my god, it took everything out of me to do my podcasting voice. It's just me, but I get to
Yep.
shout more. Yeah.
So true.
Good question though, Cameron Gonzalez. Mason, you got another letter?
I do. This is from Trey. Hey, Mason and James, love the pod. Been listening since as long as I can remember.
What does that
Maybe
mean?
5 years. I don't know. Time isn't real. He said.
Time isn't real.
Passed all my firefighter tests, but realized I need to get my EMT certification before I can be hired. Also had a scheme that I could get hired as a private jet salesman and make better money. Really struggling with the decision. You've helped me through some stuff and we'll love some input. So which do I do, jet salesman or firefighter?
I'm loving all your schemes.
Me too.
I mean, if you're looking for like a career, it's probably firefighting. But like, is it something you enjoy?
But then again, think about this. I don't know what's the over under. What's the profit margin on a jet? Maybe you only have to sell like 3 jets a year, and you're rolling in it. You
Yeah, I
what
know.
mean?
But what if you don't sell those jets?
Yeah, that's right.
Firefighters, they've got a good union normally. It's a steady income.
Yeah.
You do 2 day shifts, 2 night
Yeah.
shifts, then you got 4 days off. Yeah. There is broken sleep patterns. There's obviously the element of danger, but also you could fall into a jet.
You can do that as a firefighter as well.
You could
if you're
also-
fighting a fire on a tarmac,
Yeah.
you know, and you have to put out a fire on a Harrier jet, and it's got the vertical takeoff.
Oh, yeah.
and you're above it.
Yeah,
and
trying to put it out in there, yeah.
You're balancing on one foot,
Yeah.
and you fall into the turbine.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Those
so-
things are the same. They're
Yeah.
equally dangerous.
Yeah, so I'd be a jet salesman.
Would you?
Yeah.
What kind of jets?
Private jets.
Private jets.
Yeah.
Interesting. I saw somewhere recently. I don't know. It was probably just a YouTube short that I got sucked into. Of like, they'll, billionaires buy these jets or
Yeah.
whatever, and they'll have them all lined up there, but they'll also just lay out some Bentleys.
Oh, sure.
They'll be
Yeah.
like, oh, the Bentley's only $150,000. That's nothing compared to this private jet, which is so like they'll just have them out there so people will just impulse buy a Bentley or whatever. Again, it's probably from a YouTube short.
Sure.
When I got sucked into a Joe Rogan algorithm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, which I love, by the way. Yeah. So, I don't know.
There you go.
There's probably more money in private jets, I guess, like you said.
Yeah.
But you do have to build that reputation.
As a guy selling reliable private jets.
Yeah.
And maybe you're getting some real clunkers of private jets,
What's the market like for that, though? How many salesmen are there? Like, you working your way up?
I think it's probably like for luxury cars where there are fewer people buying them, but they all have like 50. You know what I mean? Everybody's got 50 private
What are
jets.
you doing with 50 jets, John Travolta?
You're racing them.
You got more jets than wigs, man.
Well, yeah, he's going shaved head now.
I like how he's doing
Me
that.
too.
He looks better and good. Yeah.
And one more email. This is
Yes.
from Steve.
Steve?
Hello, Moso and James. Watching the Olympics, I noticed Australia wears green and gold despite this not being the colours of the flag. Without Googling, do you know what the reason is?
Yeah, it's the wattle. It's our national plant.
That's right. It's a symbol of a land. You can put it in a bottle, you can hold it in your hand.
Yeah, it's got. You can do other things. Those are the only things you can do.
No,
with it.
that's the only things you can do with
You can make a
wattle.
tea, a special wattle.
You can make a tea.
If you want a tea that tastes like absolute.
And also,
shit.
I think the cricket team.
Yeah.
They were
Also,
the-
like so many, like those colors, our flag colors are blue and red and white,
Which is everybody else's.
Which is everybody else's. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, like, I hate our flag. It sucks.
Yeah.
Change it.
Yeah.
To the fist with a bum coming out of it. We've talked-
Reversed.
No.
Okay, all right.
Our flag sucks, Mason.
I
It's
know.
no good.
I've seen it.
Along with that stupid national anthem.
I know.
Stupid, and I hate it. Is that everybody?
That's everybody and everything.
Good
Folks,
show.
Thanks so much for listening. Thanks to our friend Alexi Toliopoulos for popping in, for popping-olopolis.
That's right. It's linked below all his stuff if you can.
That's right,
Collins
yeah.
takes
Check
care
it
of
out.
that.
It is good. It's all good stuff.
It's really good.
yeah. He likes movies like us, but in a slightly different way. Better. He likes movies better than us.
He does, doesn't he? Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening. And if
If
you want to continue to do that, that's great.
yeah.
Thank you for telling your friends about the podcast because that's how we get new listeners. And thank you for leaving a 5-star review on any app you happen to be listening to the podcast on. If you do so, James will read it out for you.
I'm doing
Yeah,
that now. I'm
do it
doing it
right
now.
now.
Some Paschetti_wackadadoo. It says a 5-star review. This is a 5-star review, so James Sunday has to read it out loud. Who ate all my spaghetti? I don't know. You have to
Correct,
figure
yes.
that out.
That's right.
This is from Navjobdb, who says, good. It's very good. Thanks, man. It means a lot when people say this is good because I know in my heart that it is good.
It absolutely
I
is.
know it in my heart, Mason.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Folks, if you want to get into contact with us, you can go to weeklyplanetpod@gmail.com. You can go to the Planet Broadcasting Great Mates Facebook group. You can go to the Weekly Planet Podcast subreddit and Discord for fun civil chats about podcasts and pop culture. Thank you to Sarabi and Maisie and Fidel for moderating over at those forums and for doing our Clips channel and for doing our TikTok and all sorts of young people stuff. They do all the young people stuff, you
We
know?
don't get it, but we
'Cause
like
they're young
it.
and cool. We don't get it. We'll never
We
get
like
it.
it,
We'll never get it.
but we like it.
We do like it. It's true.
Yeah.
Let's see. If you want to follow some people on the socials, first follow our friend Rob Collins. He's at Raw Collins on Twitter. He's at The Weekly Planet on Twitter. He'll keep you up to date on all things with The Weekly Planet. You can follow me. I am Wikipedia Brown on Twitter and Nick Mesa on Instagram. James is Mr. Sunday Movies everywhere.
Whoa.
If you want to support the show, you go to patreon.com/Mr. Sunday Movies. Chuck in a buck or an amount you would not miss, or BigSandwich.co. Sign up for $9 per month for bonus podcasts, movie
Oh,
commentaries,
yeah.
early videos, and all sorts of stuff. Other stuff.
There's so many
good stuff.
stuff.
So much good stuff.
What's this week? Can't remember. Let me bring up my thing. It's right here. And we're doing blah 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 blah. Oh, we've got a bunch of Terminator games coming up. We're doing a time capsule from the year 1961.
Oh, one of the best years.
And then the year after, a bunch of Terminator games. We also have a Prometheus commentary on there recently. And also, we played Aliens Colonial Marine.
I remember having a lot of fun with the Prometheus commentary.
Me too.
And other things.
And other things.
And other things.
Just things in your life that
That's
you're having
exactly
fun
right.
in, yeah.
Let's see. Thank you to the Brute and the Basilisk and Arackham for all our musical themes. Go to T Public, search for the Weekly Planet, and you will get a
You'll find
T-shirt.
it.
You'll find and get a T-shirt.
That's right.
We love that for you. Next week, The Crow.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited for The Crow.
I'm not at all.
You don't like Bill Skarsgård?
Yeah, but apparently it's bad and it's The Crow.
Yeah.
We've been talking about The Crow for as long as we've been doing this show.
As long as we've been having hot dinners
It's true.
of crow, baked in a pie.
I'd love to be surprised by The Crow,
Me too.
but I don't think I will be.
In a dark alley.
No,
Okay, interesting.
no.
Okay, well.
That's the show.
Okay, bye everybody.
The Crow.
Grab that gem. Bye.
The Crow.
See you next week for The Crow.
Chicka chicka.